Well, it's 10:30 p.m. I don't know where your kids are, but hopefully they're not listening to Off the Rails with Alex, Danielle, and Greg. This is Alex, co-host Off the Rails. Along with me, let's see, what are we gonna go with tonight here with you? What are we gonna go with tonight here? The Princess of Pain, the Queen of Quintessential Knowledge. That was good, wasn't it?
That was good.
That actually kind of fits, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Right?
Especially today.
Okay, the Queen of Quintessential Knowledge, the Duchess of Disaster. Danielle Alexandra, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Doing well?
I'm doing
Did you have a good night tonight, Danielle?
I did. Except I found out someone messed with my computer.
That's true. Well, I mean, other than that, I mean, that's just a little tiny little thing. It's a little ribbon.
Wait a minute, my headphones were cut, my computer was messed with.
Well, you know, things happen.
Sabotaged.
It's a plot against you.
It is.
That's what it is.
It's people that live in this house, too.
Oh, unfortunately. Hey, look, what can I do? I did the website.
You messed with the computer.
I didn't cut the cables, though.
No, you didn't.
Okay, there you go. Also with us, the Minister of the Sinister. Back in black, like AC/DC, is where Greg's at. Greg Bowen, how are you doing, sir?
Spectacular. How you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. Was the drive up here okay?
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
You know, it's a good thing you don't have a motorcycle.
Yes.
Because it would have been cold.
Because if you have a motorcycle
Yes.
right now, you are not feeling very good.
You know, it is colder right now here in Florida than it is in Alaska.
What the hell does that even mean, by the way?
I hate when that happens. That makes me so mad.
It actually happens quite a bit. But what happens is cold fronts move down. And so we end up with the cold front over us. But because Alaska is so far away that sometimes the cold front is already gone from them. So they're a little warmer than we are.
Because sea temps keep the coastline somewhat warm, right?
Right. Well, like tonight, we're not going to get a freeze, but inland they're going to get a freeze. At least where I live in Clearwater.
Is that the way it's working?
Yeah.
Because we've got the water.
We
so
tend to
it
stay
keeps
a little
us-
warmer on the coast. And then the more you go inland, it gets colder.
It always seems like you got 2 weeks of this, 3 weeks of this at the most. I mean, at the extreme most you got in Florida of this.
Yeah.
And I am a whiny baby for the entire 2 weeks.
I mean, it's just cold sometimes, but sometimes I don't mind it, and sometimes I do.
I grew up north in real winter.
In Battle Creek, Michigan.
Well, not that far north, but
Not from Battle Creek,
I am not
Michigan.
from Battle Creek, Michigan. I'm actually from Indiana, so it drives me nuts when you say I'm from Michigan.
Okay, how about this? You're from Battle Creek, Indiana.
Okay. Okay.
The
fine.
Michigan part doesn't matter. It's
It's the
It's
Creek.
Battle.
It's
You
the Battle
live in a
Creek,
city
I know.
called Battle Creek.
Absolutely.
Man, I'd like to actually live on a street called like Battle Creek Drive.
We have decided that we will never live on a street called Elm Street.
No, I'll never live on Elm Street.
I totally would.
No, I would not do
And
it.
here's the funny thing, because, you know, all of our kids are younger. They have no idea what we're talking about. But we passed by a street, and it said Elm on it. And I turned to Kelly, and it's me and Kelly with the kids in the car, and I said, I don't ever want to live on a street called Elm Street. She goes, oh, good, because I will never live on that street either. So we're all laughing. And when we come in, Alex scared us all. Like, he just jumped out, rah, as we're coming in the door. The kids are screaming, you know. And
If I hear him coming, I get behind the door
yeah.
and then hide and then go, "Rawr!"
So my son says, I can't
Totally. It's a good time.
I can't believe you just scared us after we were talking about Elm Street. And the first thing Alex said is, I will never live on a street called Elm Street.
Never.
All the kids are laughing.
I would totally live on Elm Street, and I would totally walk up and down the street singing the song. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. Oh, I would love that.
That's morbid, man.
I would kill you.
But you wouldn't live there, so it doesn't matter.
I guess it doesn't matter. We wouldn't see it.
I
Yeah, so-
think I could actually argue a stand your ground self-defense argument on that.
It's possible. It's definitely possible.
Freedom of speech. I'm just walking up and down the street singing a song. What's wrong with you
On
people?
Elm Street, man? What's going on?
You can't do that on Elm Street. I'm sorry.
You ain't seen the movie? They made a bunch of them.
I've seen them all.
Yeah, there you go. Then you know.
Yeah,
You don't live on that street.
I would.
Just for the
I totally
possibility.
would.
You know what? Honestly, I guess that maybe in a little bit of a way. What do they call that? When you're superstitious.
Superstitious?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say in some aspects, in some
What-
things, I'm superstitious.
Me
What
too.
other superstitions do you have? Like, are you like freaked out by a black cat? crossing
No.
your path
I
or
could
those
care less.
kinds of
I could
things.
care less about that.
You could care less about any animal, by the way.
Yeah, I don't care about that one. Here's the thing, though. I will say this: it does depend. Like if you're walking in the middle of the night down like a really dark street or something like that, and a black cat comes up on you, I'm not saying you ain't looking at it. You're like, oh, okay, what are you doing? All right, we're all good. Normally it's not anything, but you got to respect it at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to respect the superstition at that one.
I actually still raise my feet over a railroad track if we're driving over a railroad track.
Really?
I do. It's just habit. As soon as we go over it, my feet go up. Even if I'm driving, I kind of hit the gas and like go and then lift up my feet and then put them back.
God, you know how many times have you done that when I've been in the passenger seat?
Okay, how many times have we even been in the car when you're in the passenger seat, by the way?
Well, not a whole lot though. But sometimes, I mean, I know enough to
Considering
where
you drove
enough
us-
to where
wait.
enough to where you'd go over some train tracks though.
You
I've been
drove
in
us-
the car when it's happened.
You have driven over train tracks as the train was coming just this past couple days.
Well, that's true.
Well,
It wasn't. Hold on though. You're making it sound like I. No. It was red for a while.
The
then it
bars
stopped,
came down.
and people started going. I was third in line.
So he starts
But I
going.
looked down there. I'm like, oh shit, that's a train.
And so then I look and went, ah!
Now I think, if you want my opinion on the matter, is that the train was stopped.
Well, but the train came by just a few minutes later. We saw it. We saw the cars.
But there was a stop there.
Yeah, there was a stop and all that, but if you're going over a train track and you look to your right
no.
and there's a light pointing at you,
I can try to tell
It's
myself.
freaky.
I can try to tell myself later on that it didn't happen. But I looked down there and I went, "Oh shit, that's the train!"
and then I was like,
And we're
what?
all just crossing. Like, here's the thing: a whole bunch of us are dying if that was like we were getting hit at that time, and we had enough time to make it through no matter what because you could even see it. But it doesn't mean that you couldn't make a diamond out of a piece of charcoal.
It was
You could do it.
It was quite scary, and I'm a very nervous person in the car anyways. So even if he has to slam on the brakes real quickly, I'm like, and at one point, like, there was not even really almost an accident, but it could have been an accident, and I immediately was crying. Like, he looks over, tears running down. So when I saw the train coming at us, I'm like, just understand the scenario.
You know what it is? I'll tell you what it is instead. It's the best way to explain it. It's not that I'm superstitious. It's that I really do have like a certain just set of things. They're not even consistent some of the times. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that there's some consistency to it, the way I feel about certain things, right? But the black cat thing is just one of them. Like, there's some... You gotta respect that, you know what I'm saying?
No, there's no consistency.
So
into
you
any
wouldn't
of those
live
things.
on Elm Street? Are you like freaked out by Friday the 13th?
I have a crazy story of things that happened to me on a Friday the 13th, and I didn't realize it was Friday the 13th till later on in the day. And then the very next year, on Friday the 13th, the same things happened, and I was freaked out forever.
It's another one of those things you got to respect, though. Like, here's the thing: we do the Friday the 13th show. We've done a show on the Friday the 13th before.
We have.
We had 3 of them last year, and we give it respect. And honestly, I'll tell you what I don't do: I just don't go out very much. Like, I don't put myself in a situation like that's a reason to just stay in your house for that day. Like, just it's almost like a little mini purge there. Like on Friday the 13th, you just don't go out. You just people can just kill each other on that day. Like, whatever.
What about on a full moon?
Not so much in the full moon. I just think it looks pretty.
We do tend to be like, ooh.
Like, I love full moons, actually. Like, I love them.
Yeah.
I love them to death. They're awesome. We were driving down to
Miami.
and if you go on Alligator Alley in the middle of the night, there's no streetlights on Alligator Alley.
No.
For almost, I mean, you can go,
Like,
well,
across
not
the
hundreds
state.
of miles. You can go 30 or 40 miles, though, and not see one streetlight.
Maybe even 50.
Maybe a 50-mile
Because
stretch of it.
I think it's 70 miles altogether.
I just think that there's like 4 places though, and so or 5 places. So I don't know how spread out
Right,
they are. To be
that's
honest
true.
with you, I'm trying to think about it, but
You could tell we're on there a
it
lot
could
when
have
we're
been
like,
it could have been a full moon though. It could have been a full moon, but it was real cloudy. But when we got when we got all the way through Alligator Alley, but the streetlights were back on, then the moon came back out and it was nice and clear. But it was so bright down there, and it's so dark around that you wouldn't need your lights to see the road. Like because because the moon is so bright, but it's so pitch dark there that the moon can actually give you all the information you need when it relates towards sight.
Right.
If you could just drive with nothing. Now, I would never advise this. Please don't do it for any length of time. Don't do it at all. But if the moon's down there right, though, it's one of those, like, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
So I love full moons. Pretty. So I have no, I have no problems with full moons whatsoever. That's the inconsistency.
There's actually no rhyme or reason to his little idiosyncrasies at all.
What other ones?
I mean, you got to think about it from time to time. I mean, here's the thing, man.
There's a few things, and I can't.
Do you step over cracks in the sidewalk?
No, it's not like that. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not like that,
not like
though.
That?
No, there's no actual, like... There are certain things where I'll go to do something, and he'll be like, don't do that. And I'm like, why? And well, you just don't. It makes no sense at all. Well, you just don't.
Yeah. No, it happens all the time. You know what happens? It's like when it comes up, though.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a list for you. I wish I did, though. I got to think about times that I had to make those decisions, though. And a lot of them are idiosyncrasies too, but
Yeah.
All of them are idiosyncrasies.
Well, we all have them though. Do you have something, right?
I'm sure I do.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think you got?
I don't know. I would have to think on it.
All right,
I don't know
get
if
back
I
to you
really
in a
have
second.
any like superstitions or anything like that.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm sure I do.
In all full disclosure, let's talk about the closed eyes across bridges person. All right.
You close your eyes when crossing bridges?
Since we're going to go ahead.
So you're freaked out by bridges?
I'm not. Yes. I'm freaked out by...
That's an insult to people that are freaked out about bridges.
I am freaked out only on bridges that go over water. If it's a bridge...
That's true. That's totally
No,
true.
that's true. Because
So
there's
overpasses are okay, but...
No problem at all.
But an actual bridge is
Terrifying.
an issue.
Which doesn't make any sense, by the way, because here,
No.
if I was going off,
when you know why I'm afraid of it.
I know, but I'm saying, but if I'm going off, I think I'd rather have a body of water than the ground.
Well,
at a certain height, Because here's the thing: you may have a chance with the water. You ain't got no chance with the ground. Like you're dead or you're drowning. I'd rather have I can not drown there.
Well, at least you do have a better chance with the water. You're right, but still, I mean, there are some bridges where.
Oh, you're still dead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
you were
the
gonna be dead either
Skyway
way.
accident.
Oh, listen.
Yeah.
Not only does he love that I'm afraid of bridges, but he terrorizes me while we're on them,
I'm sure.
and especially on the Skyway.
Of course.
Hey, look, I don't do it all the time, but I'm not saying I don't do it though.
That's something I do when I do try to race big ships over the bridge. When there's a big ship coming in or out of the bay, and I'm going over the Skyway, I try and beat the ship. I try and get over the bridge.
Like you don't want to be on the bridge when the ship's going.
Right, and I don't really consider that a superstition since it's fucking happened. Since a boat hit that bridge and it collapsed and people died and it was a tragedy, I mean, maybe I'm a little more paranoid about it than I should be, but and it's not like I'm freaked out by it. I'm not freaked out by bridges, but that one, if there's a big ship coming, I try and race it over the bridge.
It's like a game of Russian roulette with like a 15,000 or 1,500 round chamber. You know what I'm saying? And you only put one bullet in it.
One big ass bullet.
Yeah, but one bullet's in the 15,000. Odds are nothing ever's gonna happen. But one time you're dead. You know what I'm saying? Just how many times you're gonna go through it?
As many ships as pass through.
When we're on the Skyway, he will all of a sudden I'll be closing my eyes, and I'm gotten to the point where I don't hyperventilate and close my eyes. I just close my eyes. And you know that I've gotten much better. But
sometimes it's fun to watch her drive that.
Then I do hyperventilate because I have to keep my eyes open.
Oh.
The first time if it's a short bridge, I used to close my eyes when I would drive.
Oh, by the way, hold on a second. The studio line is 1-800-525-4032. So there you go. I'm sorry, I didn't even think about it.
Please call in and talk.
This is the show, though, just so you know. So if you listen for the first time, this ends up just being the show. So.
Okay, so then the first time I had to drive, and he was in the car, and it was a short bridge, but he was sleeping because it was a long drive, so it was like my turn to drive. And I'm looking over, and I'm like, okay, if he wakes up and my eyes are closed, he's going to kill me. So I have to keep my eyes open. So I did keep my eyes open, but I was like, and he did wake up a short while after I was off the bridge, and he's like, "Why are you crying?" And I'm in like the panic, ugly cry, like, "My eyes going over the bridge, and you would have killed me if you opened your eyes, and I didn't have my eyes open, so I kept my eyes open."
Oh, I love it. That's awesome.
That's what 5 hours in a car will do to you, by the way. Just for the record. You know, man, we drive around this entire friggin' state, by the way. There's not one part of the state I haven't been in the past 6 months.
Right.
You know, that one. I've been panhandled to the Keys.
So then he started messing with me when I was on the bridges. So especially the Skyway, like it's like, "Oh my God, do you see what's up ahead?" And I'm like, "No, my eyes are closed." I'm also afraid of trucks being next to us, like the big 18-wheelers. So then he'll be like, "Look at that huge truck!" While we're on the Skyway, and my eyes are closed. I'm like, "Stop!"
It's another concern that's not invalid.
Well, that's not an and the reason why I'm afraid is because when my mom was young, she told me the story, and I didn't believe her. And then when I turned 16, I looked it up because someone else told me, and it was true. And forever now, and I don't know if people are like, "What story?" There was, and this is back in Michigan. My mom actually did grow up in Michigan, although it wasn't Battle Creek.
That's too bad, you know?
That would have been cooler.
That's just too bad.
It's a shame for her.
This actually did happen in Michigan where it was a couple that was driving next to an 18-wheeler, and one of the hubcaps actually flew off and decapitated them. And I always didn't believe her, so it never like scared me. And then someone else told me, and I'm like, my mom told me that when I was little, and that's just not true. But I did look it up, and it is absolutely true.
Yep.
I want to get a P.O. box from Battle Creek, Michigan. Mail forward into it. I think I'm going to do that. I totally think I'm going to do that.
Oh, my God. He is so hooked on Battle Creek, Michigan.
It's an obsession.
We have got to get us a listener base in Battle Creek, Michigan. I mean, we should just as often.
We should
as he
call
gives
people
a
in
shout
Battle
out
Creek.
to the city.
It's like we should call them.
You should get
Just call
get on
people.
whitepages.com, look up Battle Creek, Michigan, and let's start going. Look up, see if there's anybody with the last name Snicker.
You think so? You think there might be a Snicker in Battle Creek?
No. No, I don't.
No, it's possible. It's possible.
You have computers in front of you. Whitepages.com.
Oh yeah, well we could do that.
I mean, if there's an Alex Snicker in Battle Creek,
Well, not an Alex Snicker, not an Alex Snicker.
I'm saying if there is, you have to call him.
Yeah. Oh, we're not going to do it tonight though, because it's only 9:48. I mean, technically, I don't want to do it live on the air though. Like that would be just, that'd be kind of rude. I would think. We got to call somebody first, not live on the air.
Okay, so
all right, let's see what the name is.
Set it up during the day.
Hold on, let's see what the name is. Let's see what the name is.
There are no
Snickers though.
No, that's McCrory, Arkansas. There are no actual Snickers in Battle Creek, Michigan.
It's a shame.
Damn.
I'll
go with a Smith. How about a Smith? Can we get a Smith?
Is there a Smith? Is there a Smith in Battle Creek, Michigan?
Of course.
There's got to be.
Oh, there's got to be a bunch of Smiths.
Yeah.
Oh, Smithy.
A lot of Smiths.
A lot of Smiths.
There's a Toby Smith.
Toby.
You think? Toby Smith right there. Worked for the
maybe.
TSA. Or
Toby.
How crazy would it be if we actually called that number and the guy did work for the NSA? They do have employees all over the country, right?
They do.
Who's to say Troy Smith from Battle Creek, Michigan isn't
Toby Smith. Who's Troy?
Oh, I don't know.
I could call him. Give me the number. I'll call him right now.
No, we're not calling him right now. Jesus. We're turning into that show. All right, so a lot going on this week, by the way. Really nice to see. I mean, we've been busy meeting, all kinds of stuff going all over the place. And the best thing is that you see so much positivity out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
We taught a class.
A college class yesterday.
Last night.
Yeah.
Did you know?
Yeah.
At Florida Atlantic University.
Tell them what the class was.
Was internet privacy and protecting your rights.
Yeah, at Florida Atlantic University.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Which is actually, I actually thought it was going to be like a rather small school, but it's actually a 30,000 student university.
Yeah, it's huge. It was I didn't know this at the time. It's an old Army base
That they turned into a...
that they got rid of and made it a college.
Okay.
Which is one thing I guess you can do with Army bases is make colleges, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, you know what it is, though. You have a lot of big buildings separated out, like barracks, classrooms,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I can totally understand
There-
why you could do that.
There was a high school in Indianapolis, Arsenal Technical High School, that's a converted Army base.
Yeah.
So,
You know, we had a lot of fun, and we'll probably talk about this on the Friday show, I'm sure. But we taught a class on internet privacy, and it was a lot of fun. Although at first they were kind of like really quiet and kind of almost not paying attention. And then by the end, everyone had questions, and they were like, "Could you have a card?" It was really cool.
Well, you got to remember, too, that when we're going there, it's not like we're part of the curriculum. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can kind of go there and just do what you want to do. Like, you give the subject, but at the same time, you kind of own, and you can just tell them whatever you want to tell them. So we talked to the professor beforehand, and in the conversations with the professor, he was... Look, I don't like to actually go to any of these things, and Danielle is starting to be the same way, where you're going to go there with a general outline of what you're going to say,
Right.
maybe. But in reality, what you do is you go there and you listen to, like, we talked to the professor for probably about a half hour, 45 minutes beforehand. And he kind of gave us a lot of information in which to really kind of focus on with an overall message. You know what I mean? Because he teaches college kids. And what he said to us was, he said, look, there's a lot of them coming in with kind of a defeatist attitude about this stuff. And they don't know what to do. And
They just feel like they can't make a difference.
yeah, they feel like, one person can't make a difference, right? And so he's just saying this to us just in conversation, not telling us what to do or anything like that. He's just saying this is some of the feelings that's going on in there. Totally volunteering the information himself, not really telling us. We're letting him totally guide what he's going to tell us. And talked about, what you can do about it, a little defeatist attitude that he was seeing, but also that people were very open to, listening, I guess.
Yeah, and when he had first contacted me to ask me if we would go and speak, he said, he is a libertarian. Now, he stays nonpartisan, he stays NPA because he's a college professor and he doesn't want anything to look like because of the courses that he teaches, he doesn't want it to look like he's doing anything, politically charged. But when he was looking for speakers, he thought that the class would lend itself to libertarian views and wanted to get officials from the party to be able to speak on it.
Yeah. And we weren't even there cheering the party as much as we were informing them on the subject at the same time too. So we were explaining SOPA, CISPA.
Yeah, I mean, I put together a presentation and it went through the constitutional protections on privacy and how that's changed over time. Basically, old Supreme Court cases that were very strong on protecting privacies and new ones that were very weak on it. And we went through there and into, legislation like CISPA and SOPA and putting the black boxes in cars now and things.
But these kids, man, were just, like I said, by the end of it, all of them were just wow, they're really doing that? Because we were explaining real ID. Can you imagine going to a bunch of kids and going, and the thing is, think about the environment that you're in too. They brought us in. We have credibility in the fact that they brought us in. As far as they know, the vice chair of the Libertarian Party of Florida and the treasurer of the Libertarian Party of Florida are big highfalutin positions, right? Or whatever, because they ain't, but it would be, in their mind, they're like, oh yeah, these guys are big wigs of the party, titles. Right? It's not Danielle and Alex that are driving around the state like crazy people.
With the cracked windshield.
Even though that's totally true.
Even though, with a cracked ass windshield.
With the cracked windshield and the bumper being held together by duct tape.
Yeah. It's getting around now.
It does.
You can't get pulled over, so it's not like it matters.
But you're gonna, turn signal don't work.
400 miles, not a cop pulled us over.
A lot longer than 400 miles.
There and back?
Multiple trips you got to keep.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying the windshield just cracked.
Yeah. But if you told them the truth and explained it to them, not with, and this is why you almost had to do it with not an ideological presence. You just had to tell them what's going on. Just explain it to them, and they go, "Yeah, that's really messed up." We don't think they should be doing that. That's all you say, libertarians. We don't think they should be doing that to you.
Right.
That's our policy on that one.
Well, I think once you made number one, you told the story about Adrian and Real ID. And that was like, okay, you see, the kids were kind of like, wow, this is all really bad. And then you went into, Adrian's fight on Real ID, and they were like, wow, that's cool. And then you said, well, tell them about you, because I drive around without the license as well. And I think it was more intriguing that, here's this person that's like, yeah, I drive around without a license. And the car still starts. I still get around, And all of a sudden, from then on out, it was like question after question. And, well, what do we do about this? Well, what about this over here?
Yeah. Why don't you tell them, oh, you don't have to do that.
And I don't.
But the other one, they're trying to figure out, do you put, honestly, it was a class that ended up, I don't know. Here's the thing. When we were leaving, I happened to have some cards with me. I just had some in my pocket they were in my wallet, right? And one person asked me, hey, can we have your card? And so I was giving it to one, and then they're like, oh, yeah, I want one too. Just gave all the rest of them out. Now, I don't know what they're going to do with this information. They could be listening to the show tonight and go, these people are stupid as shit,
These people are nuts.
Yeah. But you know what, man? I think there's a couple people in there that were like, yeah, you know what? Screw this. Like, we made a couple libertarians out of it.
And fuck those guys.
Yeah. Honestly, I swear to God, there's some people, because there's a couple people in there that I think were probably Democrats. I don't know for sure, but we're probably more on the liberal side of things, that we just were like, you know what? The state is coming for you, too.
Well, I had this girl ask a question about, we were going through Real ID, and Alex had told Adrian's story about Real ID, and then this girl was like, well, can't we just, is there any way to renew and just say no? And when she said, is there any way to just say no? I don't want to do that. I'm like, well, you can renew once online, and you don't have to submit, but then they're going to force you to. But I can't tell you that you have to do it, because I feel like if there's a law that's unjust, it's no law at all, and I can't tell you that you're forced to comply when I refuse to comply. And once I said that, everyone was like, wait, what?
You know what? And if that is the only thing that they remember from that night, totally worth it. Totally worth it right there.
So then we went into, being pulled over and not having the ID and things like that. And I'm like, listen, we're on the radio. We're very public about it, and it would be a very public fight. I'm not telling you not to get a license, but I'm telling you I don't have one, and I won't submit to a law that's unjust.
There's a reason Ron Paul and Gary Johnson and some of these other guys do college tours.
Oh, it's fun.
It really, there's a reason for it.
Because these are the people that we need to be talking to anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got to be talking to everybody, but you definitely got to be talking to those people as well. Like, you get a bunch of kids at a certain age, and I hate to say kids, but that's what you are. I mean, you're a kid if you're in college at this point. You can be an adult and be in college. Most of the
people in that room,
but most of them are 18 to
19 to 22.
Yeah, 19 to 22 years old, maybe a couple 24-year-olds or whatever. But that's the age. All of them are that age. You know what I'm saying? And so if you can, it doesn't take nearly as many as people think it takes. You know what I'm saying? It really doesn't. That's the best part of it is we're so close because it doesn't take nearly as many as we think it does. Now it's all just a matter of organizing at this point because we just can't do that. We suck at that sometimes.
Well, it's easier to herd cats than organized libertarians.
Yeah.
But because we were looking at it all wrong, you have to educate people on the things that you're supposed to be able to do so they can just do it themselves. You just got to be there to educate them and to be able to show them the way. And that's what we're trying to set up now. And it ain't easy to do. That's kind of difficult, but it's working. It's just slow. It's just getting the right people in the right positions and just methodical work because it's a volunteer organization. You literally need somebody to handle just certain things.
But speaking to the college was fun.
Oh, yeah.
That was a lot of fun. And that was the first time. Now, generally when we go speaking somewhere, Alex is the speaker. And I just kind of interject with some fact or figure here or there, something that. And he'll kind of look at me when he needs it, and I'll just kind of add in like a couple words. So this was the first time that I actually was the speaker, and then Alex did that.
I'm rolling the screen. I'm clicking it. But then I'd interject sometimes. I'd just say something sometimes just to make a point. Like I would, Constitution. Danielle was talking about the Constitution, and then after she was done with all of the different things, then I said at the end of that, I said, look, that document was written not to restrict you. It was there to restrict the government. You have to remember that. At its core, that document is not dealing with you. It's dealing with what the government's allowed to do. So remember that. And I think people don't, Like I don't think that some people ever hear that.
I make that point a lot when I'm talking to people, and a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah.
And I tell them the Constitution has nothing to do with you.
Right.
It has nothing to do with you at all. What it has to do with is the government. And it tells the government what they're allowed to do to you.
And I went a lot into the 9th Amendment. And because that's one of those amendments that nobody ever hears about, but
Right.
that's, to me, one of the most important ones. Because, what it says is anything that's not in here doesn't mean you don't have that right. It just means we didn't feel we needed to restrict government.
Right.
So I'm like, when I'm like the Constitution wasn't there to tell you what rights you have. The 9th Amendment proves that. You have the rights. They're there. We just want to make sure government can't take them.
It doesn't grant you rights. It tells the government what rights it's not allowed to infringe on.
Right.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. We're in a class about internet privacy, and we get to make that point.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, I love, and we, for the most part, we were 80% germane to the subject.
Internet privacy, right.
But because internet privacy, in order to properly explain it, you'd have to know, the Constitution is going to be part of that just for the simple fact of, the protections. The government's not allowed to do this. The government's not
Why
allowed to do
privacy is
Yeah,
important and protected.
Right.
Yeah.
And I had to go into the beginning part of it was we always had a very strong right to privacy when it came to paperwork and what was in our house and things like that. But we've lost that because of the internet. And that's how I tied the two together, is that something that used to be very well protected isn't as protected because the technology has made it easier for them to infringe on our rights.
Yes.
You know what we don't do enough of as libertarians, by the way, in my opinion?
Talking to colleges.
Well, not just that. Not
Because that
just
was
that.
fun.
We don't sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, I don't think we do a good enough job of properly explaining the solution in a clinical way to somebody at the time in which it's going on. And some of that has to do with the fact that we get so angry at this crap that's going on.
Exactly.
That if we could just be more clinical about it and just say, look, what's going on is these guys did this and it caused this to happen and this to happen. The real solution is actually this right here, right? Okay. So I'm telling it to you in a very I'm just going to keep reminding you of this over and over and over again. Eventually, maybe you'll figure it out. You know what I mean? If we just did more of right at the time explaining it better, I think we should just do a better job of that.
Well, the one thing I think there's a reason why we make a good team is because I don't do the very passionate speeches that have a lot of emotion in it. I'm not the, rah, I'm going to get you like, yeah, we can do this. That's just not my personality.
That's not my business.
But I will clinically go through the reasoning behind whatever I'm speaking about. So we make a good team because, last night we were at a college, so I kind of took the lead, and it was a very clinical.
Thank God. Don't have me lead a college class.
I'm not in a
That'd
college
suck.
class. But
I'm not that guy.
I went through a very clinical, this is the protections that we used to have, this is how it's changed in the internet age, and this is how we can get it back. But it was a very clinical way of doing that, where Alex would interject in the very emotional, but one person can make a difference, and this is how. So it's a cool combination that we make that libertarians haven't normally done because they don't go into the very clinical version of it, where I
some do. No. See, some do.
Some
though.
do.
And I think you maybe a little misunderstanding. I think technique's everything, and we have great technique on it.
Right.
Also, subject matter though, because it has to be the stuff that you're feeling.
Yeah.
It has to be the stuff that, that answers some questions that. How can you explain it? Whatever their issue is, you really do have to take that Harry Brown approach and tie it to that what their feeling is right there, and why our ideas would be better than what is going on right now.
Right. And you have to make sure that you're expressing why government is the problem clearly, because too often we just go off on it's the government's fault. And we don't really get into explaining why the government is the problem as well as we should, to make people understand, okay, it's not that these guys just hate government. They actually understand why government is creating the problem.
Well, and I think a lot of times too often we get into this, and you do, and I hate the question because it's so cliche, who will build the roads? And the common libertarian answer is, I don't know.
Right.
Well, that didn't solve anything, because I if obviously as a libertarian, I understand the principle behind it. But if I wasn't, I look and say, yeah, but I still have to get to work. So if you don't have a plan, I can't trust your principles.
And the thing is, there's a real simple answer for that, because the answer is the same people who do it now, because it's private contractors hired by the government who build these roads. Now, we just have to figure out a different plan and a different negotiation with these people who build roads.
Well,
the people whose its best interest is to have the roads there.
I'm
Exactly.
going to give you the pragmatist argument right here. Can I give it to you real quick, if you don't mind?
Sure.
I just want to see what you think about this one. It's not a very libertarian answer, by the way. Well, maybe it is, maybe it's not. But when it comes to the roads, and when it comes to many of these services, many of the current things going on in government right now, I think if you want my opinion on it, what we have the most agreement on right now as a country is that we should get the federal government out of it completely. And at that point, it goes to the state, and the state can figure it out from there. You know what I mean? Like, the way that it restricts the federal government, it does restrict the federal government in other ways as well, though. And it would be to getting involved in a place that decided to have a government that was much more socialistic than others. You know what I mean? As long as the people voted on it and it was agreed upon, like Vermont ain't going libertarian. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to have their stuff. Massachusetts is going to have the stuff that they have right now. New York. They're going to have their stuff up there. Them up there. As it stands right now, how about we just let the people in each one of those states? Because I'm a nationalist, 50-state America, apple pie kind of guy.
Well, we've already established you're a National Socialist Party guy.
Well, no. But what I'm saying is this, though, is that wouldn't it be? Don't we all agree that the federal government doesn't have a say so, and that's what your focus should be? Is that here's the thing? Let's just get that out of their hands, put it back in the state's hands, and let's figure it out from there. Like, that's the pragmatist argument in my
50
opinion.
laboratories of innovation.
Well, I understand. Yeah, but I think even more important than that is it's not even, look, those other states don't have a right to say what goes on in my state and vice versa.
Right. Which I totally agree on.
Right.
So if you guys want to live with that crap, then go ahead and do it. Massachusetts, I ain't telling you can't do that to everybody that lives in your state. But it's a dumb move. There's a better way to fix it. To be honest with you, we'd have the solution then, which is direct care.
Right. Well, but I live in Florida, and I do most of any kind of political work within the state of Florida, and I don't think government should build the roads. So I would like to sell why we don't need government to build the roads.
I completely understand what you're saying, by the way. And for the state of Florida, that's what I would advocate for. But what I would say is, and again, you can advocate for that position. I'm not saying you're not going to. But right now, we could get the federal, if we were focusing on getting the federal government out of a lot of those things, with most people, I think we would have a majority agreement with.
Yeah.
And isn't that the more important? Again, I think that you act locally, but when you explain some of these things, then we might be able to get that one done locally. We can get rid of the state government on a lot of different things, and I think we'll do that as a natural byproduct of what it is that we're doing because we explain things like that.
Right.
But shouldn't it be that the states deal with it themselves, though?
Well, yeah, and I definitely...
Because the federal government shouldn't be able to ban a state from doing it anyway, though, right?
Well, no, and I agree with that. Like I said, because I don't focus on federal issues almost at all, I look to the smaller arguments because I'm only dealing with the state. And I do think it's within the state's authority to pick and choose what they want to be involved in.
Well, and you can nullify a bunch of that stuff, too. So I'm not saying you can't do that,
Right.
But
what I'm saying is, I definitely think that if the state of California wanted to be, completely socialist, then they have the right to do that. And if another state wanted to be absolutely a voluntary society, they have the right to do that as well. I don't believe the federal government has a right to do almost anything that they do.
yeah.
But for me, I look at it as if you change the state, then you just nullify all the state. You basically make the federal government a moot point anyways. So I'd rather focus on what's going on in the state.
No, and I understand what you're saying, but if you look at the plan of how we're going to be able to get there, I just view that as going to be part of the plan. Right. Unless it just all shuts down, which it's all possible to do that too. So, I hope that's not the case. I wouldn't want it to be the case necessarily, but here's the thing: is I'm looking at it like let's try to shut this thing down responsibly.
We the government's been
Not to say
so
other people are
broken, though.
irresponsible, by the way. Not to say that. I'm not trying to denigrate other people's opinion on this, but, I look at it as, well, this is probably the most humane way we can do it. Maybe that's the better way of looking at it. It's more humane.
Humane. It's like putting down your dog.
Well, no. Here's the thing is, what we're advocating for, the party is going to end, though.
Yeah, one way or another.
I mean, I think what's going to happen, though, if you want my opinion on it, is everybody will eventually, in the next maybe 10 years after, if, let's say, libertarians all got elected and we were, instantly, here's libertarian government, right? I think that it's still going to take a decade to get us to where we need to go. Like, you're still going to have a crash. I mean, it's going to happen. It's either going to happen or it's going to happen sooner or later. It's going to crash if you keep going down this road.
We can pull a parachute, or we can just go splat.
Right. We'd rather facilitate the crash in the most,
in the most humane way.
If
we can go in and start making real cuts to the budget in ways that don't hurt everyday people, we can prevent everything from falling apart in ways that do help everyday people.
Right. I mean, because basically we are going to come to a point where it's either going to crash hard or we can slowly facilitate a crash. The crash is going to happen. It would just be nice to be able to be the ones controlling that crash so that it makes, the least amount of pain on the people.
Focus any government spending on the humanitarian stuff if you're going to do that, but only as a wean down anyway, though, at best. This is what you got to do almost, really. But the thing is that the economy is so broken right now that you can't, like, the Wall Street, there was a Wall Street Journal analyst that sent out a private message to his people that, to his investors. And he told them that the real unemployment rate is like 37% right now. Mm-hmm. Now, that sounds crazy to say it that way, but it is actually right around there. And it's been in the 20s since 2008. That's not even bullshit. Like, that's not a lie. I'm not making shit up. That's how many people don't have fucking jobs right now. Because these guys have screwed so much shit up, it's not even funny. Like, literally, most of the stuff you have to do right now is just eliminate the regulations almost entirely and whittle the tax, and you can cut by like 30% right now and get rid of, like, what Adrian wants to do in Florida. You could cut the budget by 30% and eliminate property tax. Mm-hmm. And you run that Interstate Commerce Act where the federal regulations won't apply here. Legalize hemp. It's a boom in Florida if you do that. It's a boom. Now, you have to mix that in with, this is the other part, and we don't do it right now nearly enough. We're starting it. We're buying all the product and stuff, but we're not nearly as ready for it as we would want to be. But we really do have to go local with your food. Like, you really do have to start almost growing the stuff yourself. Even if it's just a little bit just to start off with. Like, just, and like I said, we got to get it done. Well, we're going to get it done this weekend? I guess we can.
Okay. It
Maybe
is
on Sunday.
freezing outside.
No, you're right.
So you don't want to plant seeds and have them start to sprout and then freeze because they won't be strong enough to survive the freeze.
Okay. All right. We'll wait till then. We'll wait till it's done. But those are the things that got to start happening. Now, the thing is this, and again, this is not a libertarian answer. It's a solution to get us to nothing. Is the one thing we talked about with the food stamp program. You can buy seeds with that.
Right.
Or small plants.
Right?
Encourage people to use their food stamps to buy those plants.
Or at least a small portion every month.
Yeah.
Use a small portion. Take the $15 or $10 and buy some plants. And just every month do that. And by the end of the year, you have a huge garden.
Yeah.
You could, with the right stuff. I mean, here's the thing. And again, they're already spending the money. So here's I don't even know how you do this, though. And that's the bad part, is that, look, how do you explain to everybody that, look, these things are going to end? Mm-hmm. They have to end. We're going to try to do it responsibly, but you're going to have to actually grow your own food. You got to start taking care of yourself here. We're not going to be able to keep giving you this money every month. Now, the problem is this. We shouldn't have to do that for like 10 years. If we just stop giving all the corporations all the damn money that we're giving them and letting the Fed print the money out of thin air to where nobody's money's worth anything. That's the real killer of inflation is that. Or the real killer of the economy was the inflation to begin with.
Right.
It used to be that one person could work and they would make enough money and they would be able to support their family because everything was a lot less expensive. every price has kept going up, but it went up artificially. It shouldn't have gone up as much as they have, because like computers, think about computers, right? And the amount you get for a computer now and what it was long time ago.
Well,
You know, like supercomputers back in, like the 70s, you could fit here in her glasses. It's Google Glass,
yeah.
So, but we didn't really get to see really the what's the word for it? Any of the gains we would have had, the government got, not us, because they found ways to tax it more. Same thing with, look, you get higher gas mileage, they up the gas tax.
Right.
So they get bigger, so you don't get the gains out of it. And that's been for a lot of things. Like the technology gains that should have lowered the prices, which normally would have, they end up going back up anyway with inflation.
Right.
Because your money's still not worth as much, but we don't feel it. Now nobody can make it. It's like, 37% out of a job. How many people are on assistance from the government? It's not even that these people won't want jobs. And there's jobs out there. That's the shit of it. Like there's already in the state of Florida, how many jobs did they say that there were? Were you listening to that?
Yeah, there was 245,000 jobs.
245,000 jobs waiting for people. Like nobody's there. Nobody will take the job. Not having the work or the skill. But do you ever hear about, like, shouldn't they just be talking about that in the news all the time? Mm-hmm. Like, there's a big unemployment problem. By the way, here's a website. And there's all of these places that are looking, that, if you're looking for a job, you can go to.
There's 245,000 jobs right here.
You hear people lining up for certain jobs, right? But then they have all these empty jobs.
Right.
Because those people they don't even know they exist and they don't have the training for it.
Yeah.
But you can get it. It's not even that hard to get. That's the thing. The shit of it's like a 12-week school for a lot of these things. It's just funny that the arguments in politics that we're focused so much on is the minimum wage fight, which is an understandable fight considering there's inflation, right? If you understood the real problem, that wouldn't be your fight, though. You know what I mean? Those jobs are out there. You just don't even know about them, and nobody tells you. And you know why? Because the government doesn't make any money on you getting the job right there, because they need to be able to just keep you down here so you don't go anywhere else. You just stay right here,
Well,
because the person's job that they're giving it depends on. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, there also has to be some level of an unemployment problem for them to solve, for them to justify themselves. So, I mean, they can't just solve the problems. I mean, it's just like the pharmaceutical industry and why we haven't cured anything since polio.
Yeah.
Because there's no money in the cure. The money's in the lifelong treatment. If we can treat you for your symptoms and make your life comfortable for the rest of your life, we don't have to cure you. And we make a lot more money that way. But if we cure you, you buy it once. So the government is the same way. We don't want to fix the issue. We want to manage the issue. So they justify their presence and their budgets and their budget increases every year. I mean, it's real easy.
It's the problem with central planners. You know what? We've said this before. I think I know I've said it before. I've heard it before. I'm not the originator of it. All we got to do is just tell them the truth, though.
Yeah.
It's so painfully obvious that if you just stop and look and go, do you really think that we should be doing that? No, it's like, but we're doing it for the children. Look, if it's not the best way, it's not the best way. And who's those people to say how we do it here?
Well, quite frankly, if the government was not, siphoning off all the wealth from the people into the hands of banksters and politicians, and they weren't meddling in the affairs of people across the world and creating problems and blowback, and they weren't, destroying the value of our dollar, and they weren't spying on us, I wouldn't have a problem with them making the roads and helping people with programs and having libraries and things like that. I wouldn't have a problem with government if they weren't a bunch of dicks. They do all the wrong things, though, so I can't trust them at all.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And that's a totally understandable argument.
I mean, if all they did was, fire protection and police, all the police did was protect us from murderers, thieves, and rapists, and they build roads and do libraries, and we've got some programs to help poor people, and if that's all they did, I don't really hate them.
Yeah.
They're not a bunch of dicks, and I don't have a problem. And you know what? If you're doing a good job of it, I'm not really bothered by the taxes to pay for it either.
And
It's
here's
not
the
a big
problem:
deal.
is those guys are getting screwed too.
Yeah.
That's the shit of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you're a firefighter or a teacher or police, like they're really putting you in a shitty position most of the time. Mm-hmm. Like, be a cop and try to enforce all the damn rules that we have and have quotas and shit.
Try to know them.
And even know that stuff. And then all they do is tell you go out there and just collect money. You honestly probably took the job to protect and serve, and I understand. I mean, I'm with you. They're screwing you. They're putting you in positions where you can be killed.
Yeah.
The sheriff of Bay County, I was actually there, Bay County, Florida. I was actually there when he gave a speech, and he actually brought a suitcase up on stage, and everybody's looking at him like, what do you need a suitcase for? And he said, when I got elected, everyone, my predecessor, everyone in the business said, you need to do everything by the book. So he pulls out a pocket constitution out of his jacket pocket, and he's like, okay, I'm set. And he puts it back. And then he takes this suitcase and he slams it on this table. He goes, and then my predecessor came in with this suitcase and said, no, you need to do it by the book. And he took a chair and he starts piling books onto this chair. And he piles them on for a good long time to where it's as tall as he is. And he says, they meant these books. He's like, these are the Florida statutes, regulations in Bay County, city ordinances, and everything else that you would need to know to be a sheriff in Bay County. These are the books. He says, and I looked at those books, and I looked at them real hard and said, there is no way I will ever know what is in all those books. Even if I started reading now, I wouldn't know for 10 years what's in all those books, and they'll change every single year. So he pulled out his jacket pocket, and he pulled out the pocket's constitution again. He goes, so I'll use this one, and they can have those. Which is why I kind of consider moving to Bay County.
We need more sheriffs like that.
We need more sheriffs like that.
Yeah. Tough to get that guy elected, but...
And they come after him every year. He's actually been elected twice now, but they come after him every year.
Yeah. You got to be careful with that, man. That's one of those positions. Like I said, Rick Scott had that guy put in jail.
Yeah.
For some stuff he didn't even do.
Mm-hmm.
And got acquitted. And they had to reinstate him.
And he's working today.
The speech that the Bay County Sheriff was giving was at the fundraiser for Nick Finch.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm telling you what, man. There's a couple out there, though. That's just nice. You got to get the right ones here, though. We ain't got the right ones around us. I can tell you that right now. Not even close. Not even a little bit.
Well, you're in Pinellas, so you ain't any better than we are.
I'm worse off than you guys are. Really.
I mean, we had somebody that, I thought Bogart would have been pretty good. I don't think he'd been great, but he'd been pretty good, though.
Now, Scott Swope in your area would have been great.
Swope would have been awesome.
Swope would have been good.
Alex had a man crush on Scott, I gotta say.
I gotta say I had a little.
I'm hoping he runs again. I gotta tell you, hoping he runs again.
I will support that.
I will walk doors.
I don't care what letter he put next to his name, man. I'll support him.
Yeah, Scott's a great guy, and I do hope he runs again.
I do, man. Remember seeing him at Gary Johnson events, man?
Oh yeah.
What are you doing here, man?
I was so shocked when he came into the Gary Johnson event. I was like, no, that's not Scott Swope.
Yeah.
I loved it because I was like, wait a minute, the Democrat sheriff candidate just showed up at a
At
Gary
the
Johnson event
for president event.
That'll earn the endorsement in Pinellas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally did.
and it did.
You know what though? You went through the whole nine though. You had the debate. You went through the whole thing. Hey, and he definitely was the best.
Yeah,
Like there wasn't even a question.
by far.
He was good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was real good.
That guy would have changed Pinellas County, boy. Overnight.
Yep.
I think it would have been.
again.
I actually think it would have It would have changed Pinellas County for the better, and it would have been very quick. Mm-hmm. I think you'd see crime go down even more.
Oh yeah.
Well, because he would have been focused on actual crime.
Oh, you know what though? Something else though. Did you see this video? It was a police video. It was a police video that this cop was driving down. It was in an apartment complex, and there was a kid about 100 yards away, had a football.
And he stopped and played football with the kids?
And he stopped and played catch with the cop.
I did see that. That was awesome.
I'd like to see a quota on cops. Here's my quota that I would like to see police officers have. That you do that at least 5 times a month.
Play catch with kids?
Yeah. You stop your car or do something with the public 5 times a month in a very innocent,
non-killing your dog manner.
Yeah, non-shooting your dog way.
It's not about playing football. It's about community policing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the way that police used to operate in this country. And, I told you guys many times, my dad's a retired police officer.
Yeah.
That's how he used to do it. He earned the respect of the people in the neighborhoods that he patrolled. He talked to people. He talked to all the business owners. He knew who all the business owners were, who worked where. So if somebody's jimmying at a door and they're not an employee, he knows that.
Yeah.
So he knows what's going on in his city. He talks to the citizens and, gets their idea of what's going on and helps them and is friendly to them and treats them with respect. That's how you police the community and you enforce laws and you protect people.
Yeah.
Because the community will help you do your job if you treat them with respect and you're not coming in with an iron fist and cracking skulls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and again, I think it really does come down to victim crimes. Is that if it's a victim crime, that does change people's, interactions and dealings with the police many times.
Right.
The fact that it's a victim crime, that there is a victim there. The victimless stuff, I just think that, you don't focus on any of that stuff. Don't get me wrong. Even tonight, we were talking to some people tonight, and even then, that's still one of those things that, on a local level, like they're cracking down on that in Pasco, in Newport Richey.
On what?
On victim crimes.
Oh, on victim crimes, yeah.
They get their kicks off that stuff still. I mean, we were walking into the city hall for Newport Richey, and the sheriff was walking in at the same time too.
The police chief.
The police chief. And he says, "Oh man, big bust today, right?" I'm like, "Big bust today? What happened?" He's like, "Oh yeah, big bust day. We got a car full of a whole bunch of marijuana." And I'm like, "Really?"
You made the joke.
What?
Well, you made a joke.
What the grow house? You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, well, look, man, I'm sure that's cool and all, but you could throw a rock 100 feet, probably hit a grow house around here. You know that, right? He's like, I'm like, okay, He's like, I know. You're very. He's what he called me. He goes, I know. You're very liberal about some subjects. And I'm like, I guess you could say that. I guess. I said, but which if you take it for the definition, I think the way he was meaning it was to be free on it.
Well, and I actually had this argument with someone today, is because I used the word socially liberal.
Oh, yeah.
And they have that confused with progressive. So, they start arguing with, well, how are you, if you're so fiscally conservative, how are you going to pay for all these social programs? What are you talking about, social programs? And then it comes out later on in this argument that it's because I used the word socially liberal. That I'm like, no, you don't understand the word socially liberal. Because you're talking about very progressive things, which isn't the same thing. And I said, we just feel that people should have the right to do what they want so long as they don't infringe on the rights of another. That's actually considered classical liberal on social issues. You're thinking of the word progressive, which libertarians are not. You need to learn the terms.
Yes.
Yeah, you tell her.
I did.
Yeah.
Don't be a jerk. Okay.
Ooh. What are you talking about?
Nothing.
Uh-oh.
What was that? What was that all about? Oh, you can't crack jokes anymore in this show? It's off the rails. You can crack a joke, man. I'm making a joke. That was a beautiful explanation of everything that you'd said. I fully support you 110%, and I think you're an amazing person. There you go. Is that what you needed? And I see that story you have up there, by the way. And this is what you should have more. Look, maybe the police got to understand, too, that they have a bad image right now.
What you think?
Like, you guys are shooting dogs right now.
That's one way of putting it.
There needs to be a whole new way of looking at this. Like this guy, the Texas cop, he handed a homeless man his boots.
He actually went home.
Yes.
He actually saw a homeless man on the street and went home And because he realized that he had an extra pair of boots, they were actually not even the right size for him. And he went back and gave this homeless man the boots, saying, I figured he could use them a lot more than I could.
Yes.
But now earlier in the week, I also saw a story about a man who a homeless man came to his car door and was like, do you have any change? So he handed him like whatever change he had in the cup holder, which was like 75 cents. And a police officer pulled him over, put him in the back of the police car and interrogated him for an hour because he thought it was a drug deal.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. The guy that you give that gave the boots, you promote that guy.
Yes.
Yes.
The guy that did that, you fire that guy.
Right.
Well, first off, you get rid of the law that even allowed him to do it. Then you get. I mean,
And maybe not even fire him, but reprimand him and come out and say, "Look, this is not policy.
Right.
We are not just going to bust people and give everybody a hard time because we see them handing somebody something."
Right.
It almost is like they're looking for a reason to arrest you too many times.
Yes.
Like in order to fill a quota. You know what I'm saying? Like I think they got quotas on this stuff.
Well, there honestly is incentive for local law enforcement to get drug busts.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they get federal dollars for drug busts.
Little do they realize
there is
that the
incentive
prison
for them to get as many as possible.
Yeah. And the prison industrial complex, which that's totally something that exists, is going private. This is the one thing that I am definitely not for, being in private hands, by the way.
Right.
I mean, if we're going to have, let's say, if we're going to have a government, again, I'm going that we're having a government, there's going to be people that infringe on the rights of other people that we're going to be thrown in jail. So let's just, I'm dealing with those parameters right
Going
there.
back to, if you do this, you're not a dick. This is the stuff that we expect, and I'm okay with.
Yeah.
And that's one of them.
Yeah. You rape somebody, you murder somebody, you steal from somebody, you defraud somebody.
We're
You
going to
know,
come
You
after
go,
you.
you go to jail.
You're gonna have to go to
and you
jail.
know what? The government that arrests you is also responsible for jailing you and holding you. And
I don't want
so
that jail
it's
in
not-
private hands.
Exactly.
Right.
It's not a for-profit industry to throw people in jail.
Well, you shouldn't
it's
be
a
hit-
for-justice industry.
Right.
So
Yeah.
our justice
Yeah.
system does
You
it.
definitely don't want to incentivize people to jail people.
Yes. It's not a good idea to give people incentive to throw other people in cages. Because we will do it.
But it always sounds, it's like, well, that's just so simple, right? Like, you know how simple it is? Just start getting rid of the laws. Like,
Yeah.
just, people shouldn't be allowed to be arrested for that. You know what I mean? Like, you fix that stuff up. But the whole way that police should look right now, and I think all of us should, look, at this point right now, I would say that I would, if a guy comes up on the street and asks for money, if anybody comes up and asks, 8 times out of 10,
Well, if you have cash.
yeah. If I have any money on me, if I have any change on me or anything, 8 times out of 10, I'll give something, right? And I did it last night on the way back. Is that somebody asked for, and again, he asked for something weird. Like, these guys always get good angles. I appreciate it for the new angles that I get sometimes. This guy he said that he was filling up his tire. He didn't know how much he was filling it up, and that he needed a gas gauge. Like a tire gauge. A tire
Right.
gauge.
A gas
It's like
gauge.
$2 for a tire gauge. I'm in the middle of Stewart on 95.
It was right before we got onto the turnpike.
Yeah, right
from
before you get on the
95.
turnpike from 95. Once you get out of Palm Beach County, up north of Palm Beach
I
County.
think we're in Jupiter.
Yeah, something like that. So I'm looking at him. He's normal, young looking kid too, actually, kind of young. I'm like, I know you're lying to me. Like, I didn't say this to him in my mind. I know you're lying to me. But that's all right. It was a new angle. Okay, whatever. I'm in a good mood.
You were inventive.
Yeah. So I donate, I give him the money. And then but the guy that is running the place is just giving me the eye, looking at me like, why would you do this? What are you doing? And this guy where was he from? He was of Indian descent. I'm not, again, I'm only doing it because I'm going to make a voice later and you're going to be like, what the hell is that all about? What was the guy, Indian? Yeah, he was. So
We finish up we got a snack, went to the bathroom and stuff because we were going to be on the road for several more hours. So when I went to check out and you came up while I was checking out because you had gone to the bathroom. So the guy wanted to talk to you.
he's like, why do you do this? Why do you? He's a strapping young man. He can work himself. He's
Strong back.
He's strong back. He can work. Why would you give him the money? And I said to him,
And he said that the guy comes in there all the time and begs people for things or money.
yeah. So I said to him, I go, look, man, more than likely that guy was lying. Totally know he was. Totally know he was. But there's somebody that asks me that is in need. Like, there's people that are always they're on the, like, you never know if you're going to run into somebody that is thinking about committing suicide that day.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if they're that down in their luck, they look horrible. They're going to get a buck. And again, most of it's an act. A lot of those people are making a living doing that, right? Like, they're totally
Right.
doing it like they're faking it. And it's weird that some of those people you're going to give money to. But it's worth it if you can make sure that some of those other people that were maybe thinking about dying that day, you know what, man, you give them a little bit of money. You know, you just, that's how you can help your fellow man, just as you see them. Like, just, okay, something. A little bit of something. Mm-hmm. People take advantage of that, though, and then it hurts the people that legitimately are, you know, sitting there homeless or something.
Yeah.
You know? And sometimes maybe you just need a drink, man, you know? So if somebody comes up to me and says, hey, man, can I get a drink? I need a couple bucks for a beer. You know what, dude? Fuck yeah, man. Here's a couple bucks, man. Get you a
I've
beer.
totally done that before. Actually, one time, me and a friend of mine were walking to a club in Ybor for sink or swim. It's like $5 sink or swim. You get in, you drink all night. And we were on our way to it. The guy's like, hey, man, I just want to get a couple bucks so I can get my drink on. We're like, come with us. We paid his cover to get him into the club. I'm like, you told me. That's what I want to do.
That's how you
were honest with me.
That's how you help, man. I mean, that's what you can, that's just little things you can do every day, though. Like, just as you're around. You know what it is? Sometimes I'm a miserable bastard. I'm not going to lie to you, man. Sometimes I'm a miserable bastard. I'll completely freely admit that. But there are some times when I'm walking around, and I'm not even a big fan of people, like, in general, you know? like in big places where there's a whole bunch of people, it's like, oh, I don't know about this, you know? I'm not a fan of that necessarily. I know that it's weird that you literally are doing things that are in direct opposition to this. And I totally understand. But I love people, though.
As long as they don't come near you.
It's not even as long as... No.
I totally know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I love individuals. I hate groups.
Yes.
Yes, that's how he is.
So, like, when you... And you know what it is? I'll tell you what else I don't like. That's not that I don't like this, but it's my preference, though. Like, if you go, like, to the Liberty Summit or some of these places, like, there's the VIP area and stuff. And, like, we're cool enough now that where we can get into there. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can get into the... Normally, we got to pitch something or promote something.
No, we don't.
And then we can get in there. No, well, we used to at the Liberty Summit.
Yeah.
Now it wouldn't be cut. Now they wouldn't even let me in the building.
They're going to really be mad when I show up.
Yeah, they are. So, but I'm not even going to go. I won't even go. But
Yeah.
I would rather be downstairs where everybody was at than
Yeah.
up there where there's only a few people and you get to meet, like, you know, all the speakers that are going to be there or whatever, and they're all in one room and you can talk to them and stuff like that. Because I got nothing to say to those people, man. Yeah. I got nothing to say. I'd rather talk to everybody that's down here because these are the people that you're with, not these people. They have no idea what's going on the ground most of the time.
Even at places like Paul Fest, when people would come out of the VIP area and be like, oh, why aren't you guys hanging out in there with us? And we're like, nah.
There'd be a bunch of people in there, too. Like, there's a whole bunch of them in there hanging out. And I'm like, nah.
Nah.
Let's go out in the crowd. Let's see what I want to see the speakers.
It did.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed it, but...
Now, you get to walk in and out, though. So if you got to go out there to do something, you get there and you get the hell out, though.
We did go through VIP when we had to go to the car.
Or if you want to get a drink, though, it's always better to go that way, too.
Oh, yeah.
So
Like, those amenities are fucking phenomenal. But
We do go in there for that sometimes.
yeah, I'll never be at Paul Fest again. I don't even want to go to big events anymore.
Wow.
It's not even worth it anymore, I don't think. I mean, you do the non-political big events, but not political big events,
You have to
though.
do the big events.
You know, nothing goes on there. I mean, there's some networking you can do, but...
It's just a bunch of cheerleading.
Well, here's the thing. I think I'd rather be doing something else on a Saturday.
Yeah.
I got some
better plans with my
I got some doors to knock on, man. You know, we got stuff to do. We got to grow stuff. Why talk to the choir anymore?
Right.
Everybody else is looking for you. Don't limit yourself. But it's off the rails, back on the rails, sideways rails. You know.
I disagree with you on that.
No, I know you do. That's why we end up going anyway, though. Stupid ass. I just get to complain.
The argument always was, I'd always tell him we have to go, and we would. And then the last time we went, we were walking out, And he was like, I'm never going to one of these things again. It's a lot of these coalition meetings and things like that. And I'm like, well, we have to go. And he was like, I'm like, someone needs to go that can represent the party. And he's like, well. And he was like, you think I'm representing the party well? And I'm like, no, but you have to drive me.
It's a bunch of crap. It's a conspiracy. I hope that the Florida LP gets to the point where you can within a matter of 4 months that you could actually hit all of the meetings and stuff that and all of them were like we have some affiliates that are very well attended and some that aren't nearly as well attended at times, but some of them that are very, very good. If you could repeat that one and just have that place and then just send people around. The other thing we do, you just got to be able to send people around. I like to go and just, if you wanted to hear me talk, you can only go to the county LP events. And that's it. Nowhere else. I like to do that. I like to just go to county LP events all over the state and just do that.
He would definitely like to get to the point where he'd be like, this is where I'm going to be, and you can come see me.
Yes.
No, here's the thing. I'm going to be at the county LP where I should be.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
That's the way I look at it. That's where I should be. It's a good.
That's where the magic happens.
That's where we're making the donuts. It's not going to happen though.
No,
I know that.
Because I'm going to force you to go to other meetings because you have to drive me.
But I'll talk to some of those other ones too, though, since I'm there.
I think that's the whole thing behind the not having the license.
Well, I do hate driving.
See, yeah, she's just trying to get out of driving.
But
you think that she doesn't drive though? That's the whole thing.
No, I do drive. And the reason I don't like to drive at night, which is why when I say you have to drive me, it's not that I won't drive, because I will. But I'm really putting myself in danger if I'm driving at night. I just don't drive well at night. I don't see well. I never have. I never have been a big person to drive at night at all. So I tended to, if I had to go somewhere at night, I just wouldn't go. Because I don't like driving at night because I don't feel safe.
And you close your eyes going over bridges. That's really
I don't do that anymore.
Maybe there's a reason it's not safe though, and it might
you should never close your eyes when driving or shooting. Those are two things you should not close your eyes while you're doing.
That's a good point, by the way.
Well, I don't close my eyes shooting. I'm not afraid of shooting.
Well, good.
You don't close your shooting?
I said I don't close my eyes for shooting because I'm not afraid of shooting.
Oh, I got you. Okay. All right.
I am afraid of bridges, though. I don't close my eyes anymore because I always have that little, Alex is going to kill you if he sees you with your eyes closed.
Did I ever tell you the plane ride back from Vegas story?
Yes.
Okay. Never mind then.
I've heard it several times, actually.
Okay, then
I can probably recite it.
I don't know if I've heard it. It sounds familiar for some reason.
You know what? I'll say it. I'll say it anyway.
I knew
Is that okay? Am I allowed?
I don't tell you.
No, I'll shut up. You got something else? I'll have to say something else. You guys can talk about something else.
Danielle did do show prep, but I don't know if we're ever.
We're probably never going to get to it.
Oh, you know what? Hey, can we? You know what? Can I pick something we can get to?
Yeah. Did you want to go for? Because we're actually over to the time for a break.
You want to?
Do we want to do a break? I mean, I was going to say something, but since we're. I mean, what do you want to do for a break? Do you want to play an interview?
I did a rant today, but that rant's not long enough.
Well, what's after the rant?
Would you? I think if you played it in that playlist, it would be another rant. No, the next thing would be the show, unless you did it in the other. Unless you did it in the category.
Was the rant about David Jolly?
No, Rick Scott. It's in the opposite order there.
I see it. Okay.
You could do Jolly. You could do the 3. What's the 3 come out to be? The 3 rants. They're all pretty good, actually. Start at Jolly and go from. Once you start at Jolly, it'll play the rest. You know what I'm saying? Not to give you this.
We can do that.
Okay.
You want to play some Alex rants and take a break?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. When we get back, though, just to give you a little teaser, man posts wanted poster to Facebook, arrested 45 minutes later.
Yes.
We're gonna talk about this, but I'm gonna ask a question, and I'm not gonna ask it now because I don't want these guys to know about it until I get back. Because I want the instant response to this. But I'm gonna ask them a question that's gonna be Nothing like you think it's going to be. It's definitely going to be very deep, though, and I think I'm going to be surprised on the answers here. So, you're listening Off the Rails. We'll be back after these 3 rants.
Good evening, this is Alex Snicker, 1787network.com. Saturday night, December 7th, 2013, with a breaking news story that has just come out about a certain candidate in the U.S. Congressional District 13 special election being held here in Florida. Danielle Alexander, what did you find?
Well, it seems as a Republican candidate for Congressional District 13, David Jolly, who does tout himself as being able to work with both sides and be very bipartisan, has been proving that over the years by not only donating to his party, the Republican Party, but donating to many Democrats in the Democrat Party. In fact, he's totaled $30,000 in donations to Democrats or the Democratic Party since leaving the Hill as a lobbyist in 2006.
Hold on, so you're saying that the Republican candidate for the congressional seat, or one of the 3 Republican candidates for the congressional seat, has actually donated $30,000 to the Democrat Party and Democrat candidates since 2006?
Yes, and to be in all fairness, he did donate $36,000 to the Republican Party or Republican candidates. So although he did slightly better with Republicans, he's still about even when you come to candidate donations and to the party.
Who are the candidates that he donated to in the Democrat Party?
Well, the highest contribution to a Democrat went to someone who we've actually spoken about in depth on our show, Representative Jesse Jackson Jr. Now, you'll remember Jesse Jackson Jr. when we talked about him because he's currently serving a federal prison sentence for campaign finance violations. Apparently, David Jolly was in on that action.
All right, so Senator Dick Durbin, Barbara Mikulski, is that how you say it?
Mikulski.
Being paid, I think is what that is. Appropriations Chairman Daniel, how you say his last name?
Inuayu.
Now, this is a matter of public record, so these are part of public record laws.
This comes right from the Federal Election Commission. He donated to more than a dozen Democratic campaigns and leadership PACs during his time on K Street. His most recent donation was just this past summer in 2012. So not this summer, but the summer before, when he gave $1,000 to Representative Michael Machad. He's a liberal Democrat from Maine. Since 2010, Jolly's given $2,250 to the same candidate, and he's now running for governor of Maine against a conservative, Firebrand Paul LePage. This is coming, all this information is actually coming from the Politico, but this is someone a Democrat who he's donated to pretty extensively, who's now going against a conservative.
All right. Here's my little rant on this one here. Let me get back. If you don't see that this guy is part of the problem, then you're blind. This guy was a lobbyist, and again, a small-time lobbyist. I'll go with that. $36,000 is not a whole lot of money. That's true. $30,000 isn't the end of the world. He did give $36,000 more to Republican candidates, so it was at least an even keel. Do you want an even keel guy to be the winner in this race?
Well, and even if you say, well, that's not in Florida, he was just getting involved in other races, that's not exactly the truth either, because in Florida, Jolly has also backed Senator Bill Nelson. He's also backed Alan Boyd and Kathy Castor.
Yeah, and so it's been in Florida as well. Well, let's hope that this campaign's over. I really, truly hope that any of those people that are Republicans that actually believe in, that lobbyists are the problem or actually believe in donating to your own party. I mean, there's a loyalty oath, I would think, and I would imagine that this is a big violation of it. Now, what they'll say is it's in the course of his job.
They'll probably say it was in the course of his job, and they'll also probably say that he wasn't an official Republican Executive Committee member. But you would think if even your average precinct committee man couldn't give money to a Democratic candidate without being kicked out of the Republican Executive Committee, then maybe you should at least hold your candidates to the same standard. I mean, if you're going to have loyalty, shouldn't it be loyalty for everyone?
I would think so. Well, at least there's good news that in this race you have a libertarian by the name of Lucas Overby that you'll be able to vote for that actually believes in the same principles that you do. And considering the best that the Republicans can offer is a gentleman that is, well, to say that he's damaged would do a disservice to damaged people. To be honest with you, this guy is unelectable. in this day and age. There's no way we can allow those people to continue to be up in Washington, D.C., paying off the people that make the decisions. So Google Lucas Overby, and we'll go from there, guys. Look forward to seeing you guys out there helping us out, making that happen. So, Danielle, anything else you got to say there?
No, I just have to say, thank goodness we have Lucas in the race. He's a great candidate, and he's honest, and that's more than I can say for David Jolly.
That is definitely more than that. Well, here's the thing. It's not that he lied. It's that we can't have somebody like that up in office. So, again, 1787network.com, folks, if you want more information and more of these uploads. Have a great evening.
Good night.
Five, four, three, two, one, go.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Alex Snicker with Alex's latest rant. This one has to do with a company called 23andMe and the FDA. You could better title this, Just More Proof That the Government Thinks You're Too Stupid to Know Information About Yourself. What has happened, in case you didn't know, is that there's a company called 23andMe. What they make is a $99 kit. They do a genome service. You spit into a little cup, you send it back to them, and they send you back information about yourself. There's genetic markers to show if you're more susceptible to certain kinds of illnesses or disease, or if you carry certain traits that you'd be able to pass along to future generations. Now, this information is for informational purposes only, and it's based off of science. So you would think that the FDA would not have any problem with something like this. Again, it's not like a pill you're going to take. They're just going to give you information about yourself. But the FDA, and this rant would probably be better titled, that more proof that the government thinks you're too stupid to know anything about yourself. The FDA has decided that they want to actually just go ahead and bar these guys from ever being able to do this service ever again, because they haven't kissed the right ring on the FDA finger in order to make sure that they can continue working this service. But more importantly, this is more proof that the government really does think you are too stupid to know any different. Wouldn't it be a good idea if you knew that you were more susceptible to certain illnesses or certain diseases, so you could go to your doctor, make sure that you're eating the right way to minimize the risk in your own life? Wouldn't that actually lower healthcare costs by having this information? No. Not in the FDA's infinite wisdom. The FDA understands, or at least they think they understand, and they want to make sure that you understand that there is no way that you should actually be getting any of this information whatsoever. And then unless some government-approved agency has the information, then we should ban it altogether. Again, this is authoritarian psychopaths that are in these places like the FDA that want to make sure that you just don't have this information whatsoever. They're anti-science is what they are. But let me say it another way. If they feed you the information, then they're going to expect you to believe it hook, line, and sinker. But if you go and research it yourself, well, then you're just an idiot. As a matter of fact, the FDA thinks that anybody that goes to the 23andMe is basically an idiot, that you have the idiot gene. Well, I got news for you. What you probably don't have is the authoritarian psychopath gene that our current government has for you. And this goes from Obama on down. You got to remember, the FDA is filled with people that have been there for a long time. But before they were there, they were actually working for pharmaceutical companies or other kinds of big government or big business agencies, and they just move back and forth, furthering that government, big business and big government are one and the same, and that does have bipartisan support, unfortunately for us, the citizens of this country. So let me make sure that you understand correctly. And we'll do another rant at a later day to show you why that the Food and Drug Administration has actually killed more people in this country than it has ever saved in this country. But that's a totally different argument for a different day. For this one, the FDA says you should not be able to have this information, and that they will ban it with the threat of going to jail if you disobey them. Again, more Big Brother, just making sure that you're just well taken care of. Because you are too stupid to know this information. When you talk to people in your livelihood, and you're talking to people politically, and they start talking about how, well, the government should be doing this and the government should be doing this, the one thing that you want to start asking them or get them to the point of saying is to get them to say, that they think that you're too stupid to know this information. Now, they're never going to insult you personally. What they're going to do is they're going to say, well, I'm not really talking about you. I'm talking about all those other people that are out there. We need to make this law to protect all of those other people out there. Just remember, those other people mean you when you're not there. Because many Democrats and even some Republicans think that you're too stupid. Again, you are too stupid to know this information. But trust these guys with your healthcare, folks, because they're not going to mess this one up. These guys couldn't put a website up, and they had $100 million. Who's the stupid ones now? Listen to more of Alex's rants and all other types of articles at 1787network.com. I hope you all have a great
day. I like that. I like rants. I had to do the one on Rick Scott. We didn't play the Rick Scott one, but I had to do the Rick Scott one today.
If you want
I
to
need
hear
to
the
do more
rant
of
on
them.
Rick Scott, you're going to have to go to 1787network.com
And go to the podcast
section.
And it's there.
And
it's
it's
there
there.
for you to listen to right now.
Scott opposes medical marijuana initiative. That's the one.
It's a couple minutes. And it's probably better done than the other ones. I need an intro for that too, though, so.
Right. Did you tell Greg we have a new intro to the show on
Yeah, I
Friday?
did.
Yes.
I did
listened
tell
to
him.
it. Yes.
I haven't heard it.
You haven't heard it
No.
yet? Do you want to hear it? Should we play it? Should we play it on air for everyone?
I mean, go ahead and do it if you want to, man. If for your, do it for yourself, though. I don't think anybody's listening by this point.
It's possible.
You know, do it for yourself, man. Do it for America.
Do it for America. I don't know. Do you want to hear it, Danielle?
Sure. I haven't heard it.
Here's the thing. Hold on. Before you play it, though, people are going to go. There's some part of you is going to think that. No, hold on. Let me just say it like this. He had to recreate it completely. So just understand that.
Okay.
Okay. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
It's loading. Sorry.
I was gonna say I don't
It's
hear
Windows.
anything. I was like,
Listening to this, you are the resistance.
It's going to be the same right now. Just so I was talking over again.
Don't be mistaken. I believe in peace, but I won't be taken. I will not submit to authoritative man. I'm ready to die, but not for love. See the signs appear. It's gonna happen here.
This is Liberty Underground with Alex Snicker, Danielle Alexandra, and Greg Bowen on the 1787 Radio Network.
All right, here's the thing. You got to remember that that's not one piece of audio. You have to cut up 5 pieces of audio to recreate the intro to begin with. And what you have to get right is you got to get the breaks right. You got to get them right back where they were.
Right.
He did almost a pretty good job of that for the most part.
it's a little different.
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
Little different.
A little bit though. And then he did the voice. And I actually like the voice. But now that I've heard it with it though, I still like the voice. I still like it. I think it's good.
Give us your opinion, Danielle. What do you think?
I heard him record the voice, but I didn't hear it with the music. And when he recorded the voice, I actually didn't like it. I was like, you sound like you're in a morgue.
Do you like it any better now?
I like it slightly better with the music. But maybe because I'm just so used to the other one, like I almost still hear it playing.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. Maybe we'll get used to
I'm
it.
glad we didn't change it though. I'm glad we just changed the voice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am glad. I really like
You know why? Because I like that one. That's the intro. You know?
It
I
is.
do like that.
The music.
I don't want to change up. You know, sometimes they change up the intros and stuff. I don't like doing that. I will tell you, I am disappointed that we don't play Eastbound and Down at the end anymore, but that's okay.
I am not disappointed that that's gone.
I wouldn't mind doing it in the studio just because I know I could get that in the studio at the end. Because I know Lee will play it for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
I know. It's not going to happen. Oh, look at that! Nice!
Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. Are we gonna do what they say can't be done? Are we
Oh, you got to turn it off quick, though, because they're going to mess us up on the...
Oh yeah.
Can't play it for more than so many seconds now. I tell you what, we had less of a problem at the studio than we had with YouTube.
Yeah, I know.
Whew.
Bunch of censors.
YouTube's Nazis, man.
Yeah, they are.
It's all right.
All right, so the question I was going to ask you here.
Okay.
So this man posts own wanted poster to Facebook, arrested 45 minutes later.
Right.
Now, in reading this, I mean, well, you read the story, right, Danielle? Because I've only seen the thing. Did you read this thing?
I haven't read all of it, but basically he posted on Facebook that he had just committed a crime. And
Like his update was that.
like his update was like, come and get me. And it really was like more of a taunt to the police, like, ha ha ha, come and get me. And they got him. Like, he made it really easy.
45 minutes later, they come and capture you, right? Now, here's the thing. First off, what a dumbass.
Yeah.
Like, dude, come on.
That's dumbassery at its finest right
Like,
there.
do you think that they're not going to find you? I mean, you're posted on Facebook to taunt them? Like, that's just, that ain't even right. But other than that, do you think that we are at a point now that, like, Facebook is going to be the thing that everybody has? I mean, for
Yeah.
the vast majority of the population will be on.
I think we're already at that point.
Do you think that Facebook will ever be replaced now, or do you think that they have now cemented themselves as, like...
Tell that to MySpace.
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult to say. It's possible that they could have, but, look at MySpace. Everyone thought that MySpace would
Everyone
be,
I knew had a MySpace account,
Yeah.
and then
MySpace was it, and then Facebook came along. So it's until the next big thing comes along. Facebook's going to have control. But, Google tried it with Google Plus. Didn't work. Other companies have tried. Yahoo tried their own social networking thing. It failed. I mean, other people are going to try. Somebody might have success. I think really it's going to just fracture, if anything, because you've got Instagram and Pinterest and these different pieces of social networking, and Facebook just kind of unites all that. So Facebook might stick around because they've been pretty good at, adapting and growing with technology and everything. So
yeah, I mean, and basically what this man did, and which was pretty stupid, he actually shared his own wanted picture.
yeah.
So the police department says, hey, this guy's wanted, and he shared it out and made like a really rude comment. So the police actually created a fake profile and flirted with him, and then he was like, yeah, I'm right here.
45 minutes later. Like, here's the thing. This dude ain't getting chicks just flirting with him on Facebook all the time. So you share a wanted poster and all of a sudden some chick wants to bang you?
Yeah.
What kind of a dumbass? Like, I'm glad the internet's around if you're that dumb, because you know what? You get caught easier. Good for you.
Exactly.
You dumbass. What are you thinking? I mean, why?
Yeah.
Why don't you see? I mean, are you that hard up that you can't see that? 45 minutes. You got busted 45 minutes later, and they use Facebook to get you.
Yeah.
Because you use Facebook to taunt them. They know you're on it.
They'll do that. Yeah. Yeah.
How are you even still on Facebook, by the way? Like, where were you? You posted, doesn't it always show? I mean, most of the time it shows where you post. This guy probably had his address on there.
Well,
Come and get me. I'm at 525 Baker Street. Oh, I'd never live on Baker Street either.
Really?
No.
Why?
Just because I don't like it.
What?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Baker Street's fun. But you know what? No, now that I think about it, though, I really don't want to live on Baker Street, though.
No.
Like, I was making a joke initially, but now that I think about it, though, I think I'm going to have to add Baker to the list.
What other streets are on that list?
I got to see them when they're coming up. Like, I don't want to live on School Road,
No.
Why?
I don't
But
want
you
to.
do live right down the street from a school.
Oh, yeah. I live.
School Road actually intersects with our road.
Yeah, it does. I would like to live on, I'd like to live on High Street. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
You know?
which is also near us.
Which is also near
Or
us.
Easy Street.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
love
There is
to
an
live
Easy
on
Street in my
Easy Street.
neighborhood.
Is there really?
Yes, there is.
Is there really?
There is.
They ought to put an easy street in every neighborhood, kind of like they do Martin Luther King, you know?
Well, you don't get a government grant for putting an Easy Street in
No,
your
I think
city.
maybe for the city of Newport Richie, you know what? I'm going to see if we can donate enough money where they can change the name of the street to
Rename a
Easy
street.
Street. Can we get an Easy Street in Newport Richie? Maybe we already have one. We don't even know it.
Maybe we should wait until we buy a house so that that's our block that we're going to stay on.
Oh, you mean
Look
the
for
one
a house. Look for an Easy Street in Newport Richie, and get
See
then
if we
look
can
for a
find
house
one.
on
I don't know.
that.
But look it up.
Right
Easy
now.
Street. No, you don't have to. No, I'm just kidding. But do you? So you don't think that necessarily that you think Facebook can be replaced?
Yes.
It could be.
I mean, I
Whether
think
or not
it'll be
it will, I
hard.
don't know.
But I think that everybody thought that MySpace couldn't be replaced. Everybody was on it. And then all of a sudden, I mean, are you on MySpace?
I think it'll be a combination of internal collapse and
Mm-hmm.
external competition.
Yeah, I think something will come out that's just as good, just as easy to use. And, you know, people will start to have both, and then you'll start to see a migration over, just like you did before.
Yep.
Or do you think the platform is the key now? A lot of them have tried to build like platforms where you can put all the social media into one thing.
Right. And
None of it ever seems to work, though.
really the platform, I think you're right on the platform, and I think it comes down to who's going to capture the mobile platform better. Because right now, the Facebook app sucks for mobile, for both iPhone and for Android. So, you know, if a social networking site can come out that's better. And the thing is, I think Twitter really is the competition for Facebook in that regard. Because there are a lot of people who use Twitter that don't use Facebook anymore.
Yes. No, that
And-
is true.
And Twitter is a lot easier for mobile. My problem is I'm way too verbose for
Twitter.
for the character limit of Twitter.
Me too. I'm like, I can't say it in that.
Exactly. That's my problem with Twitter. That's why I've never gotten into it.
Yeah, Twitter is for people who have very small things to say.
Yeah.
Like, I went shopping.
Yeah.
Or if you're sharing links, though.
I bought shoes.
Oh, yeah. Sharing links, or like if you just have like less to say on a subject than I do. Because I just say too much.
I can say hello in more words than they give me.
Right. I guess I'm like an int.
So I definitely I like the concept of Twitter, but I can't use it as effectively.
Yeah.
I'm a broadcaster on Twitter.
Yeah. You just do the links and.
That's it. I'm a broadcaster on Twitter. I'd give you nothing else. I can't. I just broadcast.
It's too limiting.
Yeah,
I'm not free enough on
Well,
Twitter.
I'm not. You know what it is? All the hashtags and the @ symbols and all that
I
stuff.
start to get confused.
Yeah, I don't even know what's going on with that stuff. I really don't. I mean, some of these people try to explain it to me, man. And I just, you know, it is. I don't need to know that, man. I don't want to know that. I'm sorry. You know, I'll broadcast to you on Twitter, but you want to communicate with me, either send me an email or get me on Facebook.
Just some people, just the hashtags.
I think the
it's like-
Facebook Messenger is really good app, though.
yes, the Messenger app is good, and actually, the last iteration of it was better than the current one. But
Oh yeah, I know.
yeah, but that works pretty well. The Facebook app itself, just what you can do on it, especially like the Pages Manager. You should be all about this.
It's too tough for me to be able. You can't manage it that way, though.
Yeah,
Not
No.
with
you
the
can't.
many I have.
You can't really do it.
Like I have, like, you know, it's sad.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I mean, until you're
Like I have
able
posts
to,
that hit 50 pages.
Until your mobile experience is as robust and easy to use as your browser desktop experience, you know, there's a crack and there's a way for somebody to get in. And if somebody comes along and has a better social networking site that everybody catches on to that works better on a mobile platform, it's going to catch on because that's where everything's going. We're getting to the, I mean, look at the new Windows operating system. It's designed for tablets, you know. So, I mean, everything's getting smaller. We're going to platforms where you have your computer in your pocket. And the things that don't work at that level are not going to be able to hold market share. So if Facebook doesn't get it together with their apps and make it as easy to do everything on mobile as it is to do it on a desktop, then they're going to suffer.
Well, the only other thing, though, and this is, again, I think in long term, you're absolutely right. One of the problems that all these other platforms run into, though, when it comes to Facebook is they don't have all of the, like not everybody, but most people on a computer now have Facebook.
Right.
I mean, I don't know, what is the percentage of that, do you think?
Oh, I have no idea. But I know, like, when you can normally find your grandparents on something, technology-wise, everybody's on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, even think about it for your own family. Like, okay, my mom's on it. Mm-hmm. My sisters are on it. Mm-hmm. I think my aunts are on it. I don't know if my Uncle Richard, I think he is on it too, though. His kids are on it. Kelly's on it. You're on it. I'm on it. Greg's on it.
I think no matter who you know,
You're on it. Yeah, you're on it. Mm-hmm.
no matter who you are, you know more people who are on
Have
Facebook than
don't.
aren't.
By a large majority, I would
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah. So,
Like 10% don't.
exactly.
Maybe more than that, but I don't know. I know some people that don't, though. I know some people that have no Facebook whatsoever.
I know those people as well, and that is a very small percentage.
Yeah.
And most of the people who don't have Facebook do not use technology or the internet that much
Right.
at all. There are a few people that I know that just don't use Facebook just because they think it sucks or they hate the spying aspect or whatever. But that is a very small percentage of people who use technology and use the internet who do not use Facebook.
Yeah.
Like my dad, he doesn't have Facebook, but he uses the internet to check the lottery numbers, check the news, and I mean that's the internet for him.
Yeah.
Very limited use, and he has no interest in social networking or anything.
Yeah, now definitely, like, my dad is on it, but he doesn't use it a whole lot. So, like, all of a sudden, like, and then, you'll see, like, he'll post something and it doesn't make any sense because he was, like, trying to do something else.
Right, it's like a Google search. Yeah, it's like where to find chicken cacciatore ingredients.
Yeah, and you're like,
You go comment on it. You're like Publix.
I'm like, okay, like, all of a sudden there'll be, like, an address. And I know it's not his.
Dad, this is not Google Maps. This is Facebook.
And I'm like, I don't know what he's trying to do there.
I just think Facebook is here to stay. They've become the norm.
They could be like Microsoft, like Windows, like cemented themselves firmly enough that they will never be totally gone,
Wow.
even with competition.
The competition will only last so long, is the way it seems to me.
Well, the thing is the competition has sucked.
The competition sucks, and once you get that big, just like Microsoft, I mean, you can crush your competition.
Right.
If somebody comes along that is doing something better than you, you just buy them.
Well,
Right,
that's what they
that's
do,
true.
and that's
That's
what
what
they've
they
been
do.
doing. That's
Yeah.
what they've been doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Facebook does. That's what Microsoft did, and that's why.
That's what
they're
Google
gonna-
does.
Yeah. Like, oh shit! These guys are
YouTube?
doing it better than us.
YouTube, we own you.
Here's a shit ton of cash.
Yeah.
I bet you guys will sell me every line of code you've ever written because I have a checkbook big enough.
I can't believe that Google got rid of Reader. That was the weirdest thing. Like, I didn't even understand the why behind that.
I am so.
Google. You know what Google Reader was?
Yeah.
The book thing.
Yeah. I knew what it was, and this is the thing is I'm on computers all the time. I'm on a computer all day most of the time, not all day, but the good majority of the day. I'm on a computer. I am probably the most technologically challenged person around because he'll be like, "Well, you just pick up the RSS feed." And I'm like, "I don't even know what that is." Like, and he's tried to explain it a couple times, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not really getting it." But I can do the computer, I can check the emails, I can, navigate certain things. But you give me something new and I'm like, So
That's why you like a Mac, right?
yeah, and I love the Mac, by the way. It works perfectly for me. Everything just does what I need it to do. Love the Mac. Although
The Mac is great for people who have no idea how to use technology and are not interested in learning.
no, like, he'll have something new and he'll be like, "Oh, and it's so cool and it'll do this and it'll do that." And I'm like, All right, just install it, teach me how to use it, whatever.
It's like I prefer Windows and I prefer Android, but like I would never get my grandmother anything but an iPhone. I would never hand her an Android phone.
I just need to be able to just push the button and it does what I want.
Exactly. You want a laptop? Here's a Mac.
And I love the
You
Mac.
want a smartphone? Here's an iPhone.
I love the Mac.
And they're simple. They're easy. It does what you wanted to do in one push of a button. If you ever want to learn how this works, how to do anything, you want to customize it, you're out of luck. You go to a different platform.
Yeah, and I don't need any of those things.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you don't need any of that, then it's fine. It's great. That's why I don't understand the war between like the Mac fans and the Windows fans. It's like they're two completely different things.
Yeah. And I love Macs.
Yes.
Yeah, I like the Macs.
You do like it, but you are much more into technology than I am.
Yeah, I think it's neat. I think what's happening is very interesting. I mean, even talking in that internet privacy thing, as much as we talk about how we want internet privacy, we totally do things that are in counter to that.
Well, we live very public
I mean, completely
lives.
hypocritical when it comes to that thing. But, to be honest with you,
We feed on YouTube,
yeah,
owned by Google,
in the house.
who like has NSA in their pocket.
You want cameras in your house? Well, no, they're right here.
Yeah, we gave them cameras in the house.
But here's the thing, though. Look, in order to do the show, you got to
Right.
do that, man. If you're going to get the word out about why we shouldn't be doing that, well, then you got to explain it to everybody. And what better way than to stick a camera and a mic in a room and say, "Hey, here's what's going on. It's kind of bad.
We live
Shouldn't have had that."
we live a very public life, but I'm very, very I'm a very private person. So the duality of that really is hard for me a lot of times. Like, we have cameras in this room. We have tons of cameras in this room. But if you were to turn on a camera outside of this room, I will freak out. I don't even like the windows open.
Yeah, I like tinfoil over the wall. It's funny enough, and I didn't put this up, so it's not my fault. But in the bathroom right there, is there tinfoil on the window there, though? It came with the house, though. Like, I didn't take it down.
Guess I know what they did here before. I mean, you want to get busted as a grow house? Go ahead and put tinfoil on your windows.
Well,
Oh, is that what it is?
it was very old people that lived here before, though, so I doubt they were doing a
People
grow
have been
house.
smoking weed for a long time. Old people smoke weed.
Well, yeah, no,
They
absolutely.
didn't even have cable.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah. So it's very odd that I would, we live we're on camera, we're talking on the radio, and we tell a lot about, our lives and things like that. Once we get out of this room, like, I have the shades drawn with the curtains over top of the draw shades. Like, someone opens the blinds. I'm like, what are you doing? Someone could look in.
Answers the door with the chain on. What do you want? Who are you? Why are you knocking on my door?
So I'm such
Am I being detained?
I am such a, like everyone calls my room like the cave, because like I don't want if light can get through, that means someone can see in.
If light can escape a camera's view, can also get in.
So I'm very, very nervous about things like that, and I freak out. Like, even, like the kids, if they play with a camera, I'm like, what are you doing? Why do you have that?
And Mikey's in his NSA phase right now.
He is in his NSA face.
Well, he figured out that you can use the computer and
With
you can
the
plug
camera.
a camera in there and it'll show up somewhere else with a long cable. So Mikey will take the computer and plug
Put
the
it-
cable in and then run that
the hallway.
the hallway as far as it'll go. As far as the cable will take you, but it's like halfway in the hallway, and he'll just sit there and he'll watch it.
And he's really only seeing like
Little
feet.
voyeur.
He's like, tell mom to come here. And so mom walks by, and then he's like, ooh, and then she'll walk back the other way, ooh, and then she'll yell at him through the mic, and you should stop doing that. And he's ooh, hee.
Stop spying on people.
So she's like, you don't need to spy on people.
That's what she's doing the whole time. It's her own fault though. She buys some spy gear. What do you expect? I think it's funny. I don't mind. It's funny he's NSA.
You should put a laser alarm system on the hallway that he has.
He has one.
Dude has laser light navigator things, man. Spy gear, man.
He has the laser alarm.
Like shit'll trip.
So if you walk through it, you'll hear this big like beep, beep, beep. And I always know when he set it up because like I'll be in the garage, and as soon as I open the door, like to come back in the house, he's laughing. And I'm like, Mikey, where'd you put the lasers? I don't know. And he's laughing, you know. And then
I don't know. You'll have to find them.
all of a sudden he's like, but are you gonna put the clothes in your room? And you can see him, you know, like in front of my room. And I'm like, now sometimes I'll just walk through them because he gets all excited. He's like, oh, you know. And then sometimes if I'm just not in the mood, I walk over it. And he's like, what happened? And I'm like, I'm sorry, Mike. I'm just not in the mood to play right now.
Setting up laser lights, man. I mean, ain't right. But
Teaching them young.
Yeah.
She bought the spy gear because
We bought it for him, so it's our own fault.
Because if not, he ends up using like baby monitors and stuff.
Yeah, he did improvise the first time with the baby monitors. What he'll do, and he'll ask you, because he knows he's not allowed to plug it in himself, so hey, can you plug this in so I can listen to you?
He's like, I'm a spy.
I have to have your permission to record the conversation.
He doesn't want your permission to record. He wants your permission to plug it in. Because
He's not allowed to plug it in
not allowed to
himself.
plug stuff in
And
by
so he
himself.
won't break that rule, right?
Damn it.
In order to spy on you.
Damn it. If only the Constitution allowed me to plug it in.
If only the police did that. Hey. Hold on, here it is. That doesn't even... Knock. Okay. Hello, who is it? Wait, hold on. You be the homeowner. You be the homeowner, Greg. Okay, we're gonna do this right now.
1787 Network Theater never works out well on a Wednesday night.
You gotta give us a cue and let us know that it's coming.
All right, I'm gonna be the police officer, and you're gonna be the the homeowner. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. We're going.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Bowen. How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
Great. My name's Officer Alex. Yep.
Hi, Officer Alex. You got a warrant?
Hold on a second. No. We wanted to stop by. We wanted to listen in on what you were saying. So can you go ahead and plug this in so we can record what you're saying? Because I'm looking for the bad guys.
No, thank you.
Do you know how many people who have been so indoctrinated into the government is here to protect you would go, oh, yeah, okay, I'll plug this in. Where did you want it?
Well, you send a 5-year-old to ask the question, and everybody does it.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I wasn't done yet.
Oh, sorry.
Please. Can I please put a device here to listen to you? Mr. Homeowner.
I gotta be a
He's
good
so cute.
spy.
You can't resist.
Well, this is what
I gotta plug it in for you.
We'll be in the garage and Alex will be on the phone or whatever, you know, and all of a sudden Mikey will come in and he sneaks in like he's gonna spy. So like he sneaks in the door, like they're not gonna see me, and then he puts the little thing down, the little, you know, monitor thing, and then like he pulls the cord like way as far as it'll go away from it, and then go, can you just plug this in? Like you didn't see. Like you're not gonna see what the cord is attached
no
to.
Like he was invisible the entire time and then shows up. Hey, can you plug this in? Yeah, I didn't see what you were doing the whole rest of the time, so yeah, sure. Of course I'll just plug this in. And to be honest with you, because he tried so hard, you plug it in anyway, because you're like, oh, well, A for effort. Like,
When a 5-year-old hands you a toy phone, you answer that son of a bitch. That's you play along. That's how.
Exactly. Headsets, though. We're going to have to kill him for that.
Oh, that's gonna be a problem.
He's going to have to die.
That was funny when we were talking about it, you're like, it was nice having him around for a while.
Yeah. It's nice knowing him. The only thing that gives him a reprieve is I do believe in the court of law in this one. And if I can't really prove that it was him that did it and he doesn't admit to doing it,
He's gonna admit to doing it.
I hope so. We'll
Like
see.
it was, you know.
Probably better for his lifespan not to.
I actually when I found out that when I saw him, I came in for the garage and he was like, I'm like, Mikey, you've been in the bathroom a long time. Are you okay? And he's like, I'm cleaning. you're cleaning. And he's got a little washcloth, and he's like, look, I clean this counter, and I clean this, and I clean this over there. And look, I'm going to clean the walls. And he's literally cleaning down the walls. And my first reaction was to say, what did you do wrong? And I didn't, because I'm like, well, that's not fair. The kid's just trying to be nice, and I automatically think the worst. So I didn't say it. I just said, oh, that's really nice, sweetie, but you don't have to do that. And he's like, well, I want to do it because I want you guys to be proud of me.
And then you melt.
I'm like, oh, that's so sweet, but you don't have to do it. We're already proud of you. No, I'm going to do a really good job. And he was like obsessively cleaning the house.
Because 10 minutes earlier, you freaking cut them.
The wires on my headset.
He's in the studio with a pair of scissors and a bunch of wires.
Damn.
While we were out in the garage, I was folding laundry, and Alex was on the phone. He was in the studio cutting the wires on my headset.
Little bastard.
It was nice knowing him.
It was nice knowing the kid, man. I'll tell you, he's a good guy. He was a good guy.
Well, and that's... what he'll do is he'll probably not admit it, but you'll know it, like he did with the Kit Kats. We had the little Kit Kats on the coffee table. And me and Kelly went out to the garage, and we come back in, and the Kit Kats are gone. And so she goes into his room, and she's like, Mikey, did you take something from the living room? And he's going, no, I don't know what you're talking about, as he walks past her to the bathroom. And she's like, Michael, did you take something from the living room? And he pulls out the Kit Kats out of the bathroom. He's like, no, do you mean these? She's like, yeah, why would you take those? I didn't take them.
I just happened to know that they were no longer on the coffee table and they were now in the cupboard in the bathroom.
Next to my bubble bath.
Next to my bubble bath.
She was like, then
That's where I take a break.
how did you know where they were? And now this is, when you were a kid and you got caught and you'd start crying and think of an excuse. Okay, well, Mikey is the best because his excuse as he starts bawling was, I had to hide the Kit Kats because you won't let me have them and I'll starve.
And sounded like he meant it.
He was dead serious.
Like he had righteous indignation is what he had when he said it.
You will starve me with no Kit Kats, because he had asked earlier and we had said no because he wasn't good at school. So he had asked Mom earlier. She says, no, you can't have a Kit Kat. You weren't good at school. And he's like, you won't let me have Kit Kats, so you're going to starve me with all the Kit Kats.
And now he has to die.
Poor kid.
Poor kid. Feel bad for him, man.
Stealing Kit Kats, cutting wires.
You can steal a Kit Kat, man. Don't cut a wire, man. You know how many Kit Kats that is?
That's a lot of Kit Kats.
What is the equivalent Kit Kat to headset ratio? It's like 30 Kit Kats.
Yeah. Easily 30 Kit Kats.
Yeah. So that's a lot of Kit Kats, man. That's 120 bars individually, if we're counting it.
He's sitting there running math in his head, breaking this down.
240 fun size.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, by the way.
And that's a lot of fun right there.
That is a lot of fun, though. That's a lot of fun.
That's a lot of fun that he destroyed.
I wouldn't mind laying in Kit Kat. Just laying in Kit Kats.
Just a bed of Kit Kats.
Yeah.
A mattress made out of Kit Kats.
Yeah.
And as you roll and toss and turn, you hear them cracking and breaking apart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though it would require a very, very big shower later on.
Yeah.
Because you really don't want to be laying around a bunch of Kit Kats. I mean, at the end of the day.
You use fruit roll-ups as sheets or something.
Oh. Well, that's a good idea. That's a damn good idea.
That's not a good idea at all.
Not a good idea at all.
You know why? Because there's other people in this house that clean up after every stupid idea that you have.
I clean that one up, though. I don't think I can talk anybody into cleaning that one up. That's a pretty nasty one.
All I'm thinking about is what kind of laundry am I going to have to do after that?
Everything will have to be destroyed.
It's mostly cleaning floors because I think it's all going to melt by morning.
Yeah, no, that would be bad.
No.
You should not do that.
No,
That is
no,
not
never.
suggested
No,
behavior.
this is a horrible idea.
This is a bad idea.
I've been thinking about this now. We should just stick with jelly.
It sounded good at the beginning.
We should do Jell-O. That's what we should do.
Jell-O, just a giant bowl of Jell-O.
Yeah, not Jell-O shots. We might have heard that, not the mic. No, the microphone heard that. Dude, I gotta tell you, I do love the fact that there's somebody else in the show, in the room. Like, that is fun. I like that, actually.
Yeah. A live studio audience.
Yeah.
Live studio.
I mean, it sucks that it knocked down our internet presence by 50%, but, like... at the same time, though, it's actually kind of fun, though.
It sucks that the only person that consistently watches this show
Is now in the studio.
Damn it, you had to come.
It's great that you're here, but who's watching?
We didn't need to come into this cold room to do the show.
Oh, by the way, the studio lines is 1-800-525-4032. Refresh Telecom lines, 1-800-525-4032.
If you're listening, please call and let us know. Although, actually, it's 12:30. We should be ending the show. Doing so bad paying attention to the time tonight.
Well, we really didn't have anything to talk about, but we talked about something.
Somehow we filled 2
talking about?
hours.
We didn't have anything to talk about. I did.
Oh, you did?
Yes, we
We
actually.
got the one story. We
We talked for 2 hours and didn't even use the stuff that she did for show prep.
I was
We didn't have anything to talk about. What do you think I was doing?
Oh, sorry.
We filled 2 hours pretty easily for not having anything to talk about.
Yeah, it worked out well. I'd like to think so. The college class thing was funny.
That was funny.
You know, I was into that.
It was fun. I enjoyed doing
I
it.
like the rants. I got to do more of the rants, man.
Mike's beware.
We had to talk about Mikey, you know. That kid's funny. I'm telling you.
Such
Now,
a shame.
I want to leave on a good note here, though. Can we leave on a good note? Is that possible?
Instead of talking about killing your son.
The cutting of my.
I'm not going to
cords.
kill Mike either. To be honest with you, I don't know what I'm going to do just yet. I have not figured out what I'm going to do just yet. I think the key for me, though, I got to get him to admit that he did it, though. I need him to admit that if he did it, I need him to admit it.
Right.
Or if he has a video of Danielle doing it, then he needs to produce that.
This would be the room where the
Yeah.
video would.
Well, here's the thing: if you were spying on people, it's too bad you ain't recording it, because if you were, then you'd have found out.
Yeah.
This is from Hollandale Beach, though. Hollandale Beach is in Florida, and they are now dumping the red light cameras.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, red light cameras are getting the heave-ho in this seaside city. Saying he was following through on a campaign promise, Commissioner William Julian made a motion Wednesday to get rid of the cameras as soon as legally possible. Commissioner Michelle Lararzo quickly agreed. I absolutely do not feel they should be in Hollandale, she said. I do not believe we need them here. I do not believe we need red light cameras. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. The motion passed 4-1. Mayor Joy Cooper dissented, saying the cameras help stop red light runners and make the city streets safer. Sorry.
We should never allow you to read anything.
I
sorry.
think we don't get the point, but we understand what you're talking about somehow.
We don't know how they're going to keep those people safer.
American Traffic Solutions is the people that actually owned the red light cameras, or they were the
course.
company that had the contract. Here's the difference, though. They had a clause. They can get rid of the cameras at 30 days out.
Well, someone was a little smarter than the city of Newport Richey when
You
they
ain't
said
kidding.
that.
Yeah. Bad deals.
Here's the other thing. This issue was not even listed on the Wednesday night agenda, and no one from the company was actually at the meeting, so they didn't get to be represented there because it wasn't on the agenda. This guy's like, you know what, man? I won the election. All right, let's get rid of those things.
Nice.
You know, I'm not even going to tell you I'm going to do it. That's awesome. You know what? The company doesn't need to be there.
Right.
It has nothing to do with them. It has to do with the citizens of that city, not American Traffic Solutions, you bunch of jerks.
Yeah.
Weird for the paper to even mention that. How much money they had to pay you for that stuff. It's just a nice story. I'm glad to see it. You guys got anything?
No.
Anything you wanted to say? Greg, is there anything you wanted to bring up, sir?
No, that's okay.
You got this mic, man. I want you to, you know, we talk enough. You know, it's not like you ever get any time. You know, we're dicks. So I'll go with that.
I'm still getting used to having a mic because I was
you
so
get-
used to
so
not
you're-
having a mic, so I just don't talk that.
Trying to
much
get your
'cause I'm used to not talking.
your sea talk back.
Yeah, I got to get my sea legs back.
I hear you. I understand.
I did see the story about how the government is trying to replace soldiers with robots.
Like 70%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it's going. Boy, we got to stop these guys pretty soon.
Yeah.
Like, boy, it's like a tire fire. Like you're just watching it, going, yeah, boy, that really sucks. They're doing that.
Well, I'm like, how has anyone? Do you guys watch movies? Have you ever seen The Terminator, Matrix, iRobot? Have you seen any of these movies?
I did see
Do you
iRobot. You found
Holy
one.
cow! Do you watch Will Smith movies? Is that it?
I do.
That might be it.
Independence Day.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I have seen most of Will Smith's movies.
I mean, that's not a bad thing. He's a pretty good actor.
Yeah.
He's been in some good movies. I like Independence Day.
I didn't like the.
So what were you
cowboy
going
movie
with that
either.
though?
Oh, I don't know. I lost it.
The robots.
No, the robots. 70%
yeah.
of the robots. You've seen all these movies. Is this the beginning?
It's yeah.
Is that what you were going to ask? I thought you were.
Well,
bringing
no.
it up
I
to
mean,
a
I
point.
just saw the news story about. I mean, it was all over today.
And
Yeah.
it made him think of movies.
Well, no. You
Well-
think about the movies
I mean,
where the robots
yeah.
take over.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about. These movies. I mean, you build this artificial intelligence. They build an army of robots. You build an army of robots, and these robots turn on you. I mean, come on. Have you guys never watched these movies?
Well, Will Smith is here. He'll save us.
Well, yeah. We do still have Will Smith and Tom Hanks. So
See?
You know what? The kind of I've watched. They have the different kinds of robotics that's going on. The ones that are making is their own beings, and where it's a robot, but not the robot that's like just parts of your arm and body and stuff. You know what I mean? Like some of the stuff, like remember the alien stuff? Remember the alien technologies? Remember the movie Alien and aliens and stuff? Remember they used to put those suits on that had the that had the big metal parts and stuff. Well, they're making some of those as well, where people can do like more work because they have the.
and that's as we move to the battle mechs.
Yeah. But you have the beginning of that right now, and it's just little things where they will pick up an ammo can and then move an ammo can.
Right now
somewhere else.
they're like just exoskeletons where they're using them basically as a legged forklift.
Yeah, basically.
But as it moves on, they'll weaponize them, and that's why the government has its hands on everything first, because it's all got to be militarized first. How can we use this to kill people and blow shit up? And once the government has its turn at trying to figure out how it can be used to kill people and blow shit up, then they give it to us, and we can do things like make the internet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
After they've figured out a way to kill people.
They did make Tang though.
Well,
I do love Tang. So let's give the government credit tonight. You get Tang. And I like Tang. So
who doesn't like Tang?
I
astronauts
don't.
to the moon.
I don't like Tang.
No.
That's wrong. That's just wrong. You should really try to start liking Tang.
Why? I don't like it. I
All
make it for
right,
you.
all right. You don't have to like Tang if you don't want to. I'm just saying
It's
you
your
should though.
choice. It's your choice.
It's your choice completely.
Some people are born that way, though.
Some people are born that way to like and not like Tang. All right, look, let's end the show already. Yeah, you keep bringing up this Tang talk. Actually, I think I might have brought it up, but that's beside the point, though. Totally beside the point. All right, guys. Off the rails, 1787network.com. I hope you like the show.
We gotta close the show.
Oh, yeah, let's close the show. Hope you did like the show, though. Again, this really is a show about nothing, but it's about everything all at the same time. It's about both. It's the duality of man. It's the good and the bad. It's the black and the white. Up and down.
The yin and the yang.
The yin. Yeah, damn right, Greg. It is the yin and the yang. It's both.
The
'Cause
monkey
you know what?
and the wrench. The fly in the ointment.
In order to be that into all the kind of stuff you have to be into, you got to be a little out of your mind. And we're out of our minds, and we understand. But we'll try to let you out and let you see some of it at the same time, too. Like a tire fire. Just let it burn. Again, off the rails, 1787network.com. We'll see you guys on Friday for Friday's show of Liberty Underground. Should be a good one. We'll see you then.